I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't covering my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, 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 who don't play.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play, who don't play, 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 who don't play, 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 who don't. Long time coming, black on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying to selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from under the sun that we matching our limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving a mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation, I'm finessing a visit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC 319. We have Khamzat Chimaev going against Dricus du Plessis in a card that I've had circled for a very long time, a fight that I've had circled for a very long time, a fight that I will be attending live with Uncle Weezy and Avery. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be an absolute movie. Weezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to UFC 319?
I can't wait, Brady. Would you believe that I've never been to a UFC card before live?
No, well, yeah, because you told me before.
Yeah. But it's kind of wild, right? That I haven't been able. I've never been to one, so I finally get to go in my city here in Chicago. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's kind of weird. Like, there's no Chicago fighters on this card. Like, Valley Flow Striking's right here in Chicago. We got Bilal Muhammad. We got Juliana Pena. We got Chuck Radke. We got Carlos Hernandez. We got all these guys that are training over there. And none of them except for Mearshart. Mearshart's on the card, but he's a Wisconsin boy. So it's kind of weird. Like, we got 14 fights on this card. There's not one Chicago person on this card, but it's a great card, Brady. Because we're coming off a card last week where the matchmakers just stunk it up and they didn't even put one fair fight on the card, and everybody was at least a minus 200 favorite except for the fight that got made on fight week. This is one where we got a bunch of fair fights on this card. A lot of really talented fighters, a lot of really experienced veterans. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one live, man. And I mean, has there been a more compelling fight this year than, outside of maybe like the Topuria fights where Dricus du Plessis is fighting Khamzat Chimaev? It's a phenomenal stylistic matchup, and it's two guys that it's pretty much impossible to picture what a loss looks like. So I can't wait, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been a more compelling fight than Khamzat Chimaev, Dricus du Plessis off the top of my head. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The card's stacked, man. I like a lot of these fights. I think there's a lot of solid spots, and like you mentioned, last week, we didn't have any bettable fights, right? Yeah. We had minus 700 favorites, minus 650 favorites. Yeah. And then you have to look at the props. It's like, oh, the props are all ass. And it's like, I like ass, but I don't like ass props.
Yeah.
And we're laying, minus numbers on female fighters to finish. Gabby Fernandez, we were, betting first round props at, near
plus
even
100.
It's just horrible. Yeah. So that's what I like about this card. We're going to find some value in the money lines. We're going to find some value in the props, and I'm looking forward to breaking it all down. Before we get into it, if you guys could do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you guys are watching on the replay, leave a comment. Leave a comment. We like to see the comments. If you guys are watching on X, repost the stream. We always appreciate that as well. And what we'll do first is we will do a quick recap of hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a quick recap of last week, and I will kick us off. So, like I said, it was a tough card. I mean, like a lot of the favorites that were supposed to win, they did come through, but a lot of the outcomes I kind of got wrong. Like I thought some people would finish that didn't finish. I thought some people would win by sub that won by knockout, vice versa. But I'll kind of go fight by fight real quickly here. Mechanical Brundage, I talked about it on my recap video. I'm pissed at the UFC that they added that fight. First and foremost, I know you hate it. I hate it when they add a fight on fight week, because it's like I like to do my research, the week prior of fight cards, and when they do and put fights on a Monday, on a Tuesday, it just adds so much more work. And not only does it add more work, it was a terrible fight. It was a horrible fight, and it played out like a horrible fight. It was one of the worst fights I think I've ever seen. Eric McConaughey went out there, and it had to have been a record. He landed only 26 significant strikes in a win. I mean, it was a horrible, terrible, terrible fight. Cut them both right now, because I'm sick of seeing them. I'm sick of seeing both of them. So yeah, that sucked. I had a unit and a half on Gabby Fernandez to win inside the distance, and Gabby, she crapped the bed. You're not going to get a bigger layup than Julia Stoliarenko the rest of her career. I mean, this was a step down from who she's been fighting, and she had a big advantage on the feet, but she did not let her hands go enough. She did not let her kicks go enough. She was hurting Julia to the body with those body kicks in the first round, but she stopped throwing them in round 2 and round 3. And, you look at the stats, and it's like Julia Stoliarenko outlands Gabriela Fernandez 61-59. That should not ever in a million years be happening. So Fernandez went out there and she pulled a Trayshawn Gore. She stuffed all the takedowns. That's great, but she did nothing on the feet. And I thought it was a horrible performance. So Gabriela Fernandez, shame on you. You're not going to get an easier matchup, and you crap the bed. So that hurt. I had Uros Medic to win by first or second round knockout, -125 for 2 units. And like if Urbina would have knocked out Medic, and he almost did, if Urbina would have knocked out Medic, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in a mental hospital. Like I would not be here right now if Urbina finished Medic in the first round. So going forward, I'm worried about Medic. He got dropped by Gilbert Urbina of all people. He got sparked by Punahele Soriano. He got dropped multiple times by Matt Semmelsberger. I think Medic, his chin is in serious question, but luckily he got back up and knocked out Urbina. So thank you for keeping me out of a mental institution so I can go to Chicago this weekend. I had Jocelyn Edwards by submission. That was fun. Priscilla Capoeira, never been knocked out. They call her the zombie girl for a reason. She can take a beating and keep on coming. And she got knocked out. I never thought I'd see the day. I thought it'd be sub. And the sub obviously does not hit. My biggest bet of the night was on Elijah Smith to win in rounds 1 or rounds 2, -160. I love that bet. I had 2 units on it. I actually added on to it. And he won, and he won in spectacular fashion. He went out there, and he looked incredible. The ground and pound was incredible. Was able to get out of all the tricky submission attempts, and then he slammed Kazama's head through the canvas, cashing my biggest bet of the card. Up next was a disappointing one, Julius Walker, Rafael Cerqueira. I did the square thing, and I bet Walker to win by first-round knockout. I thought it was a pretty simple path, pretty easy first-round knockout, but something happened in that fight that I did not expect. Cerqueira looked like a real fighter, and I trashed this guy all week, and when I did my full card breakdown and prediction video, Weezy, instead of putting a picture of Rafael Cerqueira, I put a dumpster. I put a dumpster of this guy, and he did not look like a dumpster. He was landing big shots in the first round. He had Julius Walker doing the chicken dance in the third round. Rafael Cerqueira actually looked like he was somewhat of a fighter. He did get 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards, but the striking looked really good. So, yeah, I thought Walker was going to run through him. I couldn't have been more wrong. The odds makers couldn't have been more wrong. The fight doesn't go to decision. Weezy was -1,000. Julius Walker by decision was +1,000. And Walker goes out there, and you're not going to get an easier matchup than Rafael Cerqueira. So I'm kind of worried about Walker going forward. The wrestling was great and all that, but I mean, you can't get an easier layup. This was my best read on the card. Christian Leroy Duncan versus Eric Anders. Eric Anders had been hurt by Jamie Pickett, Chris Weidman, and Marc-Andre Barrios. And it's like if Christian Leroy gives any type of shit, he's going to go out there and he's going to finish Eric Anders. And he did exactly that. Spinning elbow, finished him shortly after. Realtors in the UFC have just been awful. If you're a realtor, if you're getting into the real estate business, you're not only losing, you're losing in spectacular fashion. And Eric Anders, I believe, just got his real estate license, and he got knocked out along the way. 2-3 props on Matsumoto didn't come close at all. Miles Johns looked like he could have went 10 rounds. The cardio looks suspiciously good. The durability looks suspiciously good. I'm not accusing Miles Johns of anything, but I haven't really seen Miles Johns, have that great of cardio ever in his career. I had the fight ends by sub, and the Rodriguez-Fili fight didn't come close at all. But what made, or what was going to make or break my night was Steve Verseg inside the distance. And you know what? Shame on Steve Verseg. This is a guy who, he's on a 3-fight skid. He lost to Pantoja, Moreno, and Kai Kara France. The top of the division. He takes an astronomical step down in competition. He's a -600 favorite. And he goes out there and he looks -110. That was a -110 pick'em fight. He gets almost knocked out in the first round by Ode Osborne. The second round was the second round could have went to Osborne. It was a very, very close second round. If it went to Osborne, I don't think anybody would have said a thing. And then he goes out there and wins the third. And just to make things worse, I have Steve Erceg inside the distance. He gets Ode Osborne in a choke with about a minute left. Ode does do a good job defending and holding the other hand of Erceg. And then he gets him in a very deep rear naked choke with about 12 seconds left. It's deep, it's tight, and couldn't quite finish it. It needed like a couple more seconds. So if that would have hit, would have been a winning night. So that was unfortunate. And then the main event, I played Delidze early and Hernandez late. The read was perfect, but I screwed up and I had Hernandez TKO 3, 4, and 5. They were astronomical numbers. Would have been, if those hit, would have been the biggest hit I've ever had. But he ended up subbing him rather than knocking him out. And it could have been a knock. Like if Hernandez wanted to, he could have knocked out Delidze. He almost TKO'd him at the end of the second. He could have just as easily TKO'd him, but instead he snatched at the neck. I should have just did the 3, 4, 5 in general, but those were the worst 3, 4, 5 props I've seen in the history of the sport. So that was a tricky card. A lot of these favorites, they won, they came through, but a lot of these favorites did not pay off their price tag. And that's what we're dealing with, this day and age of UFC betting. We're having overinflated lines. These favorites, they're still winning, but they're looking pick'em when they're minus 400, minus 500. What are you going to do? But yeah, we're really disappointed in some of these performances. Gabriela Fernandez, Julius Walker, Steve Erceg. There's just a lot of bad performances last night. Christian Rodriguez dropped the ball as a big favorite. So, but yeah, I thought the fights were fun card, but it wasn't the best card for me from a betting perspective. Weezy, how did you do last night?
I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible last night. I hit the probability parlay 3 legs, which I try to find like those hold your nose and bet it lines, when they're just absolutely blown out, but you feel like it's going to end that way. And we hit on the Jocelyn Edwards money line, the Elijah Smith to win by KO, and the Earls Medic to win by KO. And by the way, when Elijah Smith powerbombed Kazama, as soon as he picked him up, I said out loud, oh my God, it's over. It's over. And when you watch one of those angles, Tyone's moving away from the action when Kazama gets picked up, gets slammed on his head. Predictably, he goes out immediately. And then he eats 2 follow-up shots, 2 nasty follow-up shots, Brady. And I mean, like those, the fighter's doing his job, so you certainly don't blame Elijah Smith for it. But damn it, Chris Tyone, help out Toshi Kazama a little bit. We all knew he was going to get knocked out. And when he got power bombed, you had to know that you probably needed to be very close to that, because he was already close to stopping it from some of that ground and pound that Smith was landing in there. He looked good, dude. So yeah, I mean, prayers up for Toshiomi Kazama, but I saw a picture of him eating 5 guys after the fights. Like they held him for observation and he's okay. So thank God that he's okay, because that was nasty. That was really hard to watch. I screamed out, he's dead after that fight. And, I actually thought that dude might not breathe again, so that was nasty. And frankly, what happened to Kazama was what happened to my bets, Brady. It was that bad. I mean, like everything that I bet, it was so, I could not have made worse bets. Let's name them out one by one. How about betting on Christian Rodriguez to win by submission when he gets 0 takedowns and there's 0 grappling in the fight? How about betting Julia Stoliarenko to win by submission in round 1, and she's a kickboxer now, and actually a fairly effective one, because I thought she might have even won rounds 1 and 3 of that fight. That fight was too close. That fight was entirely too close. So that's a shit bet. How about John Matsumoto inside the distance? What happened with Miles Johns has got the fluffy cardio now. He was eating calf kicks like flapjacks for that entire fight. Never took a bad step. Matsumoto was putting pressure on him, hurting him. He never even got anywhere close to finishing him. So that was another unit down the drain. Another unit down the drain, under 1.5 rounds for Philly versus Rodriguez at plus 300. Great line. The data loved it. I thought that Philly could knock out Rodriguez because he's undersized. And I thought Rodriguez might be able to find a submission on Philly. That got nowhere close. And then Brady. I bet on Roman Dolidze, and Anthony Hernandez is my favorite fighter. And it's embarrassing because we make mistakes sometimes. Sometimes we make bad bets. Sometimes we make a bet and you're just flat out embarrassed about it. You know, this is definitely one of those ones, but it's even more embarrassing for me because I had Roman Dolidze mixed up with another fighter from Georgia that has really good jiu-jitsu. And I seriously, I can't even remember his name. But like the guy took down Jack Hermanson and like strung together 4 submission attempts and pounded him out with ground and pound. He tore Phil Hawes's leg in half. And that I had Dolidze mixed up with that dude. Oh. And I fucking bet on him. And it's like, dude, what is happening? You know, Roman, I know that Anthony Hernandez, he's my favorite fighter. I know how difficult of a matchup that is. But like, I thought I was at a concert, Brady. I went to go see Black Moth Super Rainbow last night at the Metro here in Chicago. And for anybody that's ever heard of Black Moth Super Rainbow, this is not the kind of show you go to sober, okay? Everybody's on psychedelics, including your Uncle Wheezy. And, you know, my eyes aren't working very well. Like, I was trying at some points during the concert to look at what was going on my phone. And, like, the numbers were changing and shit. But the one thing I kept looking at was Roman Dolidze had 0 submission attempts. And I was like, wait, it says that he got taken down 9 times. How the fuck does he have 0 submit? Did he not know that Fluffy was going to wrestle? You know, and then how stupid it was for me to like actually mix up Roman Dolidze with a fighter that had good jiu-jitsu that I had seen fight somewhere before that I can't remember his name. I lost 1.75 units on that guy, Brady. What's up with these fucking extreme couture fighters?
Yeah, you know, I was going to say something. They've been horrible, dude. Horrible.
They've been fucking horrible. Dan Ige just lost to Patricio Shih Tzu. You just had, what was it? Zellhuber going out there and losing to a 40-year-old Michael Johnson. And then
what about the Mansur Abdul Malik? Forgot how to fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy makes Eric McConaughey look like he's got volume.
Terrible. They've been horrible. I mean,
it was, dude, I lost 2.85 units, but they should have stole 50 units from me. Just for those bets that I made, the fucking bookie should have called me and asked me to cut him a check for how shitty the bets that I made was. So the losing streak, Brady, it continues. But we're in my city now.
Hey.
Okay? Nothing happens in this fucking city without your Uncle Wheezy hearing about it and giving the okay. And I'm fucking telling you, there are going to be some things happening this weekend, man. We're going to have some fun, okay? Me, Brady, Avery, we're going to be hanging out in here in my city, and I'm going to show you guys around. We're going to do things the right way. The losing streak stops this week. Nothing goes down in this city without me giving the okay, and I am going to have the fucking inside script on this one. We're making all the winning bets, and even if they don't give me the script, Brady, which they should, these are fair fights, so we can break these down. These are great veteran fighters, high-level fighters. We got Kamaya versus Duplessis. We got the debut of Aaron Pico. We got Karine Killer Silva. We got 2 tough fights on this card too, which they haven't even announced the other one yet. But we're getting Idris Alibi versus Joe Morales, and then we're going to get Rodrigo Cezinando versus either Daniil Donchenko or Matt Dixon. So we got a great stacked card to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to leaving last night in the rearview mirror. I still haven't even went back and got to watch the masterclass that Fluffy Hernandez put on. I'm going to go back and watch that maybe later on the night and just enjoy my favorite fighter doing what he does best, which is just absolutely drown people. I was just surprised that Michelle Pereira, Edmund Shabazian, even the Russian kickboxer Kopylov put up more resistance. Fremd reversed them and won a round off of him. Same thing with Brendan Allen, but Brendan Allen's a really good grappler compared to the other guys. So I was just surprised to see Dolidze get absolutely punked like a white belt out there.
Yeah, I mean, I had Fluffy by late finish, but I was definitely expecting Dolidze to have at least a little bit more success while he was fresh, but no, it was just fluffy 100% of the time. It was wild. All right. So we'll recap the Stat Diggers parlay of the week, and it fails. My leg. I went with the under 1.5 in the Walker Cerqueira fight, and it doesn't hit. The fight goes the distance. Julius Walker. I should have just played Walker by decision at plus 1,000. I mean, that was crazy. So I wasn't expecting that, but you had the under there. So the Stat Diggers parlay fails. What else fails is the on-site piping of the week. Julius Walker to pipe Rafael Cerqueira on-site this Saturday. Nope, he didn't. Did he win the fight? Yes. Did he pipe him on-site? Absolutely not. We should have went with Elijah Smith. That was a piping, but this was not a piping. So we got to get back on track with the parlay. We got to get back on track with the piping, but the milking came through, and it was probably one of the best milkings yet. I mean, we got the milking of the week was Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to milk Roman Dolidze, and he did exactly that. He took him down, grabbed him by the udders, and milked him and drained him and made him quit in the 4th round. So shout out to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez for milking Roman Dolidze. So the milking came through, the piping, the parlay did not. Medic would have been another good piping as well.
Yeah,
but we went with Julius Walker.
And our guy Buffo on the beat clipped us talking about it last week when I said, like, oh, Julius, just be prepared for people saying that you suck if you're unable to finish this guy or get him out of there in round 1. And he didn't, like he was unable to do that. Like, it was so hard to know how Cerqueira was going to look because we just saw absolutely nothing from him. So, he got the best version of Cerqueira, and he was able to mix in the grappling and stay safe. But that dude was trying to take his head off in the 3rd round there, and he came pretty damn close. Walker's got a chin on him.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, that was certainly a surprise to me. Certainly surprised. I thought Cerqueira was a dumpster, but apparently he's not. He's not a dumpster. All right, so I did do a who needs to get help. Oh, we got a tie. If you guys have not voted for who needs to get help, do it real quick. But Weezy, I did a who needs to get help section here. And yeah, I could have added a Lidze, but the options I put were Steve Urseg, looking minus 110 as a minus 600 favorite against Ode Osborne, almost getting finished. I didn't love that. Toshiami Kazama potentially needs help. He almost died. Cody Brundage potentially might need help. And then Julius Walker potentially might need help. So out of those 4, Weezy, I'm going to close the poll. Out of those 4, who do you think needs the most help?
Well, my vote's in there. I put Kazama because I'm worried about him. He keeps getting knocked out, Brady, and then he eats the follow-up shots. It's a bad deal, Urseg won, so he didn't get the job done like we thought he would. Like that, one of the bets that I didn't make was either Urseg inside the distance or fight doesn't go to decision there, and I thought that somebody was going to get a finish. And then who were the other options? Was it Gabby?
No, I don't think she was on there. It was Brundage, Kazama, Walker, and Urseg. I could have put Gabby. I could have put Dolidze. There were a couple people.
I don't think Brundage needs help because he won that fight. He won that damn fight. Who gave Eric McConico round 2? That is absolutely crazy, dude. There's no way that he won round 2, and 2 of those clown judges gave him round 2. Dude, it was like the 3 blind mice there, man. They got every round wrong. Cerqueira almost killed Walker in the 3rd, and they gave Walker that round, and then like even in the Brundage fight, there was the crazy 2nd round scoring. These guys are terrible, man. These judges are unbelievable.
Oh, they were bad. They were bad last night. But in terms of the poll, we had 183 votes. In 4th place, Steve Urseg. Steve Ursig with 18%. And I think this is the closest it's been ever, Weezy.
Okay.
3rd place, believe it or not, Julius Walker.
Okay.
21%. Does not need help. Took Cerqueira to decision. In 2nd place, believe it or not, Toshiami Kazama, 29%. In 1st place for who needs to get the most help, you guessed it, Cody Brundage, 30%. Cody Brundage needs to get some help.
I disagree. First of all, they both took that fight on less than a week's notice. I didn't even make a pick for that fight. I didn't gamble on that fight because when the UFC dumps a fight on us on Monday that they made on Sunday for that week, it's really bad form to gamble on those fights because it, first of all, there's a much higher likelihood that when they're desperately adding a fight like that, that there might be some kind of an angle behind it. You know, it felt like McConaughey was supposed to win after we saw those scorecards. And second of all, you know, neither guy was training to see the other guy, to fight the other guy. You don't know if these guys were in camp. You don't know how their conditioning is going to look. So it's just too much variance to be betting on those fights. So I was just sitting back watching it with nothing riding on it. And yeah, I thought Cody won, but.
Yeah, I thought he won too, but at the end of the day, it really shouldn't have been. Like, you're not going to get an easier matchup than Eric McConaughey, who doesn't fight. Like, he didn't even throw anything. How did Brundage manage to make it even that close? And then I hated the game plan. Like, why are you like, knock him out, man? McConaughey can't take a punch. So, yeah, the voters have spoken, and they said Cody Brundage. I don't know who I probably would have picked probably Kazama. I mean, Kazama probably needs some help, man. I mean, the dude almost died. But all right, we're already about 30 minutes, and I'm going to try to go rapid fire through the chat. Somebody got really upset last week, you know, about us going through the chat, but that's kind of what the show's all about, and we're not going to change that. We appreciate you guys here. All right. Got Chronic Combat Conversations in the building. What is up? What is up? I'm back 2863 on my account. There you go. There you go. I can get you a lot. We got Pablo absolutely psyched for this show. Me too, man. And Dixon called it. Dixon's good at calling this stuff. Brady and Weezy, what did I tell you? Julius Walker was going to take the Brazilian Shannon Ross to a decision like Nate Menes versus Jimmy Flick. Weezy, you're right to warn him on Stat Diggers last week. Yeah, you guys both nailed it.
That was a wild one, man. You know what I mean? You just sometimes get the feeling that it's going to go that way. And it you know, obviously I was never going to bet that the fight was going to go to decision or Walker by decision. But, you know, when I saw it happening in real time, I was like, yep, it's about par for the course for how this summer's been going. Yeah.
Dylan saying Kazama doesn't need help. He was favored to get finished. Was he favored to almost die, though? What was the line on almost dying? Because
what was the line on a prayer circle over the young man while he was unconscious on the canvas?
Yeah, I mean, I think he might need some help, but move, fighter, move. And thank God, you know, Herzog wasn't reffing that Kazama fight. We got Daz in the building. Weezy's $500 dono pick got 83 likes on X. There you go. Moo Guy's a legendary donor. Yeah, I heard you got a $500 dono. That's crazy.
My guy Moo setting me up on stream. I couldn't believe it. I was just blown away. Wild stuff on Thursday night.
It's amazing. How are human beings scoring round 2 for Eric? I don't know, dude. It's bad. That booty on Edwards, though. Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah. Early shows are the best. That's why we go so early here at 10:15 Eastern time. Julius definitely needs help. Was hand-fed a can and had one of the least impressive wins in recent cards. Why isn't Roman Dolidze on? Yeah, he could have been on there. We got City Boy reposted the stream as well as Mike James. Appreciate you both. 5 nurses for Kazama. Yeah, absolutely. Walker gets some help. How ass is Steve Erceg? Yeah, I always thought Erceg was a little bit overrated, but I didn't think he was, you know, that overrated. Looking Pick'em versus Odie Osborne. Has Jason Herzog been arrested? Potentially. We haven't seen him in the octagon. We got Anthony Fluffy Hernandez in the building. Anthony, congrats on your win. Uncle Weezy, I saw that sneaky little. Yeah, he's not too happy. He's not too happy with you.
Hey, you know, it's one of those things that you do sometimes because you're like, hey, if I lose the bet, my favorite fighter wins. If my favorite fighter loses, I get a little bit of money, you know, but I wasn't betting it like that. I really thought that Roman was going to give him problems on the ground. I really thought that, Brady. I feel like a fucking idiot.
We all make terrible bets sometimes, but
yeah, I made a bad bet. A bad bet.
Yeah, I thought the Lids would at least have like a little bit of success early, but we got Dogfather on time. What is up, Dogfather? Good to see you. I think Elijah Smith needs help. That was a brutal effing 3 minutes. He's a sicko. Yeah, he is a sicko. Cody Brundage, never again. Neither Brundage or McConaughey wanted to be. That's why I hate that they made the fight. Like, yeah. they made the stupid fight, and then neither guy wanted to fight. It was quite disgusting. We got Tony C with the $4.99 dono. Appreciate you, Tony C. He says, shout out to DC for mentioning Fluffy giving Dolidze a rock bottom. There you go.
You know what a rock bottom is?
What is it?
I think it's a wrestling move, but I'm not. I would
That's
have
what
to
I
ask the
thought.
chat. I think it's like a finishing move for a wrestler. And I mean, like, I guess he was throwing Roman around that maybe he did give him, a rock bottom, whatever that is. But yeah.
Okay. I didn't even catch that. We got Sean Vitter saying, "What's up, guys? Keep up the great work. Any DWCS content?" So I know Sean does some DWCS content. So guys, go check him out on X. Yeah, that's what I was telling Weezy. I spent like all day researching Dana White's Contender Series. It's like an all-day thing. You got to do the tape, the notes, the graphics. So yeah, I just got my video out a couple minutes before showtime. But yeah, looking forward to some Dana White's Contender Series. We got Dr. Peener in the building. What's up? If it isn't the number 2 and 4 most handsome MMA influencers, well, who's number 1 and 3? Anthony's saying who's number 1 and 3. Anthony piped and milked Roman, called the milkman and the pipe fitters. That body slam was ridiculous. Yeah, it was. Had multiple units on Sakara last night because of last week's show. What happened on last week's show?
Well, because I was saying that, Walker was, he might not, if he didn't finish him, that he would be getting all this hate from the community because Brady, can you imagine how it would have felt to be one of those clowns that played Julius Walker inside the distance at minus 600 when his money line was minus 600? And that's why I said it, because like they opened up his inside the distance prop as his money line. And I'm like, when you make a bad bet, you get really mad at yourself. And sometimes you lash out at others instead of lashing out at yourself for making the dumb bet. Well, imagine how those people felt. They were like, yeah, Walker's finishing this fool, minus 600. Sign me up. And then he wins by decision. And you could have won the money if you had just been smart enough to bet the money line instead. So, yeah, I mean, crazy.
That's crazy. Definitely crazy. We got Bub Collins with the $4.99. He said he super chatted last week for an Uncle Weezy story. Was promised a story, never got it. Uncle Weezy, you owe me. I expect a great story tonight. You got any stories potentially lined up?
It's kind of funny. I got together with some of my old fraternity brothers last week, not a couple of days ago, but like 9 days ago on a Friday or Saturday night, and we were kind of like telling old stories. And one time did a road trip to the University of Iowa. So I went to the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois, and we had our spring break. Now I could never really afford to go on spring break. So I would hang out with some of my fraternity brothers that also couldn't afford to go on spring break. And we'd road trip during our week off to some other colleges that were about to go on spring break. One of them was the University of Iowa. So I'm with my friends Chris and Kevin. And my friend Kevin says that he's got some friends of his that are girls over at the University of Iowa. They're big partiers. And we're big partiers. I did a lot of drugs in college, Brady. Okay. Yeah. And so we're big partiers. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, how big? Do they drink and smoke weed, or are they doing like hard drugs? Because we can party with the rest of them. And he was like, they party, Wheezy. So bring whatever you got. Let's go. So we go. We go to Iowa. We're going to stay there overnight at this girl's place that Kevin's friends with. And then we're going to drive home in the morning, right? So we go up there. We go to this girl's place. They're kind of like, they were a little bit suspicious of me and my friend Chris because they didn't know us from Kevin. And Kevin told us that these girls party hard. So we're like walking in there being like, I hope you girls are ready to party. And we start busting out all these drugs out of the bag. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. So we were like, what? So we're getting kicked out of their place now. And we're like, Kevin, what the fuck? You said these girls were cool. He goes, I thought they were cool, So now we've got all these drugs. We're at Iowa University and we have no fucking place to stay. So we go out. It's Kevin's birthday. And this dude, Kevin, is a serious alcoholic, right? Wow. And we've got psychedelics. We've got everything that you could possibly imagine. So we're all on acid, Brady, and we're smoking weed and we're drinking, and I am the most sober of the three of us. My friend Chris completely goes off the rails, and I'm almost kind of carrying him around campus. And Kevin is so drunk, he's telling everybody it's his birthday, and he's tripping on acid, and he's just all over the place. And I'm trying to be like the mom and make sure that nobody fucking gets hurt. I saw Chris fall once in this bar called the Union at University of Iowa. And then all of a sudden, we realize, okay, so now the bars are closing. We're all tripping balls, right? It's 2:30 in the morning, and we got no place to stay. No place to stay. We barely have any money on us. We have my car up there, and all three of us are on acid. And so I'm like, well, now what? Are we going to sleep in the car? And my friend Kevin says, nah, man, it's my birthday. Nothing bad is going to happen. I'm driving us home back to Northern Illinois. And, Chris is like barely conscious. He's so fucked up. And I'm sitting there going, well, if Kevin drives and we get pulled over, I'm not getting a DUI. So I agree to it. Okay. I agree to let Kevin drive us home. So we get in the car, and from Iowa City, Iowa to DeKalb, Illinois, it's about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive. Right. Oh. And so Kevin, when we sit down, I'm riding shotgun, Kevin's driving, and Chris is passed out in the back. Right. And then so right when he starts up the car, he looks over at me, he goes, Wheezy, you need to stay awake and be my eyes and ears here, because this is a long fucking drive. I'm like, I got you, buddy. The next thing I remember, I hear, woohoo, we did it, check it out, right? And I see the sign that says Annie Glidden Road, which is the exit for Northern Illinois University. And I had just woken up, and I'm like, holy shit, we made it. You did it. I looked over at Kevin, and he goes, yeah. He goes, what do you mean we made it? I'm like, dude, I've been sleeping the entire time. He goes, dude, I've been talking to you the entire time. Evidently, he was talking to me the entire ride home. I don't remember any of it. I was sleeping. Chris is passed out dead in the back. I have no idea how we got home alive and safe, but we got there. We got home. We made it. And a couple of my friends actually have a similar story too, about like how they had to drive home from Iowa in the middle of the night, completely wasted. And yeah, that was us in college, man. We were fucking morons. And that was a wild, wild night that I have no idea how we got home safe.
Holy crap. Times have changed. I don't think college is like that anymore. Not in 2025. Dude,
I went back to college to get a statistics degree after all of us finance guys lost our jobs. And I was hanging out with like some of these younger kids, not like hanging out at the bars, but we'd be studying, and I'd be like, man, you guys are candy asses compared to us, dude.
Yeah.
Like the shit that we were pulling off in college in the 90s, Brady, was wild. We didn't even have cell phones yet, so you couldn't even just call somebody up and be like, hey, help me. Like back then, what were we going to do? Who were we going to call? We were 2.5 hours away from home. We had no place to stay, but normally, like now, you could just call, you get on your phone and be like, hey, dude, I need some help. Like, we couldn't do that shit. Another time we went to Iowa, my friend Todd, we lost him. We completely lost him. We went to bed. The next morning, there's 4 of us going to drive back to Northern Illinois, but there's supposed to be 5. We can't find Todd. We find him on the fucking side of the road with a cup of ice and a fucking loaf of bread at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, we all ran out there and hugged him. We thought we might not ever see him again. That was another Iowa trip. That's another story for another time. But Bub, sorry you didn't get the story last week. And this show runs long enough without me telling college stories, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a great story. Great story. Uncle Weezy definitely has the best story. So there you go, Bub. Thank you for the donut. Hopefully you enjoyed the story there. Low T City Ortega with a $13.99. Appreciate you, Low T City Ortega. He says, Ben Cartledge and Tony Weeks out there living the dream. Front row judging amazing fights, and both obviously drunk off their asses with zero chance of being held accountable. Must be nice being them. That's the best job. You get to watch fight front row and
job, dude.
No accountability. Just enjoy the fights and write down some numbers. It sounds fun.
And I wonder what they get paid, Brady.
Yeah, me too. Probably
you get the feeling they're not showing up for $33,000 a year.
I think they're getting paid probably a decent amount, man.
God, it must be amazing to be those guys. I'm jealous of all of them, man. I wish I had that job.
Yeah, me too. We got Narco in the building. What is up, Narco? Good to see you in here.
That shit, like guys like Narco Cop would have been arresting my ass in college, man. I'm glad I was in DeKalb and he was in Chicago, dude. I didn't need to be anywhere near Narco Cop, man. When I was young.
That's good. That's good. What's up, Big Brain Uncle? What is up, Rem Dog? Good to see you in here. We got Future. What is up? We got Justin Vallejos. Good to see you in here as well. It's that perfect chest hair. Delidze. Yeah, he does have some good chest hair, I suppose. We got Moneyliner. It says a sponsor. What is up, Moneyliner? Yes, fade Extreme Couture at all cost. They have been awful. They don't like to fight anymore. Like the game plans have been horrible. Zellhuber, Ige, Mansour Abdul-Malik, Delidze. Just off the top of my head, those last 4 performances have been awful. Something's going on in Extreme Couture, and something sick is going on at Extreme Couture. Brady, I've been commenting about the Nixick camp. Horrific performances once again by a Nixick fight into Delidze. Fluffy looked minus 1,000. Delidze posed 0 threat. Yeah, it was weird. 0 threat. Max Bet Loopy, do you want me to go into an insane asylum? I mean, I don't want to do that. But Chicago Pizza, we're going to find out. We're going to find out if it's overrated. We're about to find out this Friday.
That's right.
Did you say Dick's Insider? Yes, Dick's Insider. He's one of the moderators of the chat.
Yes.
Walker exposed. Let's see here. Walker and Raphael both got piped in round 3. He almost got piped. Milked him dry. Yes. He says, wait, I'm a little behind, but the dude on the bottom got Roman mixed up with another fighter from Georgia, and I'm supposed to take this guy serious. What a joke. It was a joke. That's the joke, man. That's the joke. Oh, gosh. Hopefully most people got it.
That could happen to anyone. Yeah, anyone can mix up a fighter with another fighter. Look, I'm only human, Brady.
Yeah, you're only human. All right. Sorry, guys, kind of scrolling through these. We're about 45 minutes in. We got Marcel. And by the way, Marcel stopped doing, but somebody new has started to tag me in nude Andrade photos. Somebody did it last night. Just absolutely disgusting. And I was eating during it, and I was like, okay, I'm not hungry anymore after seeing a hole like that. You know, you don't like to see a hole like that. Just disgusting. Ode won round 1 and round 2 robbery. Definitely wasn't a robbery, but yeah, round 1 Ode, round 3 Urseg, round 2 was 50-50. 50-50. But I do agree with this. The judges are crooked and they're corrupt. Who is mad at the chat? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not mad at the chat. Magic M said no Herzog in Vegas 2 weeks in a row. Surely no coincidence. Yeah, I think he's getting punished. I suppose. Hopefully he's not in Chicago.
There was not on yesterday's card, but 8 days ago, Brady, there was a replay, and Jason Herzog was the replay official. Like one of the announcers, cage side, said Jason Herzog is the replay official for this fight. So it was on UFC Vegas 108. I don't think he wasn't reffing the fights, but he might still be like there. And by the way, I want to know if I'm the only one that thinks this. I feel like I see Steve Mazzagatti cage side a lot. Like he's gray now. Have you ever seen him?
Yeah, a couple times.
There's a dude that looks like Steve Mazzagatti. He's wearing a referee's shirt, like a black and white striped shirt. He's like one of the timekeepers or something. And I don't know if it's Mazzagatti or not. I wonder if anyone in the chat knows if that dude that you see sometimes sitting cage side at UFC fights is actually Mazzagatti, because it makes me laugh thinking like, yeah, they don't let him in there to ref anymore, but they'll let him watch the clock and clap the things.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yes. If it's not him, it's his twin or something, man. Okay,
so yeah, DXJC saying that is Steve Mazzagatti. Yeah, so like even when you do suck at your job and you're a part of these commissions, even if they do like finally come to the conclusion of like, hey, this guy's a death dealer, we can't let him in there to rev fights anymore, they'll let you, like keep time cage side and you'll still get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. So maybe they can have Herzog do the clapper, the 10-second clapper. He'd be good at it, man. Are her nudes disgusting? Yeah, I mean, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. Brady, what's your wife's website for the lotions? Again, I'm going to need some for the loopy fight. And yeah, great time to bring up the sponsors. We'll talk about my wife's website and shout out to everybody that purchased items last week. She was very happy about it. She just started the website. Go to herbalmakings.com and use code StatDiggers for 10% off your entire order. This week, she just added a castor oil eye roller for wrinkles and shadows for under your eyes. So check it out. Use that promo code. And also shout out our guy Avery for sponsoring the show. Go give him a follow at MMA_Very on X. Me and Avery will be arriving in Chicago around like 7:30.
I think like 6:30 on. I think it's 7:30 your time, but 6:30 my time, and on Friday.
6:30 Chicago time. I think I'm arriving, and then he's arriving very shortly after. So looking forward to hanging out with Avery. And of course, this show would not be possible without our guy Avery. Shout out to Avery. Great sponsor. All right. I say we get into it here.
Let's do it.
And we're going to start with, do you want to quickly touch on the tough fights real quick?
So we're going to have Rodrigo Cezinando is the one welterweight finalist, Brady. He's either going to be fighting Matt Dixon or Donchenko. And Donchenko is a Ukrainian kickboxer with good takedown defense. Dixon's kind of like a hard hitter, knockout guy. And Cezinando is a pretty good, well-rounded fighter. Like, he can take you down. He can stuff your takedowns. He's got good cardio. He hits hard on the feet. So the welterweight one is kind of tricky to break down because we don't know who Cezinando is fighting yet. But I heard somebody say in the chat that maybe Dixon lost that fight and it's going to be Donchenko. In which case, I think both of them are going to be strikers and fighting probably on the feet mostly. And then for Idris versus Morales, Joseph Morales actually has 3 UFC fights. He fought back in 2017 and 2018. He had losses against Eric Shelton and Davison Figueiredo, and he had a win over a Mexican kid. I forget what his name was, but he's a Team Alpha Male guy. He had a few more fights, and then he took like a couple of years off. I think his last official fight might be, it was 2.5 years ago, his last official fight. So he's on a long way off, but he was obviously in the Tough House, and he had 2 fights there. So he's back. 10.5-year career for Morales, but this Kazakhstani dude, Alibi Idris, he looks really good, Brady. Former Niza FC flyweight champion, all-around fighter. He could take you down. He could hurt you on the feet. He's got great cardio. The guy's got really good really good cardio for the division and really good length for the division. 5'6" with a 69-inch reach. So yeah, I mean, like the Morales Idris fight, I think that Idris is probably going to open up as a fairly big favorite because he looked like an absolute monster in the house. But Joseph Morales got a couple of good wins in the house as well, and he's already fought in the UFC. So it's an interesting fight. I've been watching this season, but I didn't see the last episode, which is where Morales got his win to get into the finals. So I still got to watch that. But yeah, a couple interesting fights I think we're going to be starting off the card here with.
Okay, yeah, I still have to watch The Ultimate Fighter. It's going to take a while, but got to watch the fights and all that. But I was doing Contender Series today, so I didn't get to the either fight. So I know nothing about either one of the. I didn't watch one episode of Tough this season yet. So I'll get to those later in the week. But thank you for the insight there, Uncle Weezy. All right, let's get to the first actual fight of the night. It's going to be Karina Silva going against Diana Barbosa. We got Karina Silva, 31 years old, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach. We got Barbosa, 33 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. We got Silva 2 years younger. Barbosa with a 1-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Silva's 4-1 in her last 5 fights. She submitted Pauliana Botelho. She submitted Ketlin Souza. She submitted Marina Moroz. She beat Ariana Lipski by decision, and then she lost a decision to Viviane Araujo. As far as Diana Barbosa, she was 4-1 in her last 5 fights. She beat Ernesta Carrascate by decision. She lost to Miranda Maverick by decision, and then she beat Diana Belbita by submission her last time out. So this is actually a rematch, I believe, back from 2019. Was not able to find the fight, and it looks like Barbosa, beat Silva in their first fight. If this fight came down to who had the better afro, I think Silva might be minus 1,000 here, but we're capping fights based on their skill set and all that good stuff, not on who has the better afro. And yeah, I think Silva's made a ton of improvements, since their first fight. You got to imagine. Her striking looks solid. The cardio looks decent, and she can wrestle. She can mix in takedowns. She's dangerous on the ground. And Barbosa is also dangerous on the ground. Barbosa is a black belt. She's very dangerous early on. What I don't like about Barbosa, and I wish I could go back and watch their first fight, but at the same time, it was 6 years ago, and I think a lot has probably changed. Karina Silva's been a lot more active. She has a ton more fights than Barbosa, who only has like 11 fights. Karina Silva has like 23 fights. But what I like about Barbosa is the grappling early on, but she does kind of slow down as the fight goes on. The volume kind of falls off a cliff as the fight goes on. So, yeah, I'm going to try to find their first fight, but haven't been able to access it. Would be nice to watch that. But, yeah, I kind of think early on Barbosa is going to be able to maybe land some big shots, maybe have some success in the grappling. But I kind of like the cardio of Silva as the fight goes on. I don't like how Barbosa is slowing down in some of these fights. Wheezy, what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because Diana is a short notice replacement for JJ Aldrich. So Karina was, training for an all-around fighter in Aldrich. She'll wrestle a little bit. She's a good southpaw boxer. But I forget if Barbosa is Barbosa's an orthodox fighter. So that's kind of interesting. You're training for a southpaw. Now you get an orthodox fighter, and it's somebody that you fought before. And we know that Karina's already on the revenge tour, because remember, wasn't the first loss of her career to Marina Moroz, and then she rematched Marina Moroz in the UFC and won that fight, and then she beat Lipsky. She was a minus 170 favorite against Ariane Lipsky, but she's coming off dropping the ball as a minus 300 favorite versus Vivi Araujo in her last fight. So when you get all that hype on you, and then you take that step up from Lipsky to Araujo, who's a top 10 fighter in the division, and then you kind of blow it. So the short-term recency bias for Silva is kind of bad. And while Barbosa is coming off being a minus 1,200 favorite over Diana Belbita, and she subbed her with an armbar, I believe. But yeah, I mean, Diana has lost to Miranda Maverick, got a win over Ernesta Carrasquecha, and then she was, fighting on the regional scene prior to that. She's a good fighter. I believe she's a judo black belt, but she's also a good submission grappler, and she shows a little bit of power early in fights. But, the thing is, Brady, is neither one of these ladies has good cardio. Karina Silva's 1-2 to the decision as a professional. Diana Barbosa's 4-2 to the decision as a professional. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think I got to go back and watch that Miranda Maverick fight and see how she dealt with the wrestling of Maverick, because I do think that Karina is going to probably be trying to take her down, because her submission game is so good, so dangerous. They call her the killer because she puts her opponents in hospitals when she beats them. I mean, what she did to poor City Rocha's arm was nasty. And you see it happen with Sosa's knee in that Z lock that she put her in. You can just see the knee pop. You could see the tendon just snap. It was nasty, man. She's a dangerous, dangerous fighter. So good on Diana for taking this fight on short notice. And Diana won the first fight, but like you said, 6 years ago, it doesn't mean much. These ladies are both completely different fighters than they were that long ago.
Yeah, and like I said, especially Silva, who's had so much experience since then, so many fights. She's been very active, which you love to see it. So we got, oh gosh, this line's getting pounded in the ass. Silva opened up minus 155. She's now minus 210. As far as Barbosa, she opened up plus 135. She's currently plus 180. So money is pouring in on Karina Silva. The over-under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 is minus 210. The under 2.5 is plus 170. Typically, I would look to bet an under in a Karina Silva fight, but Barbosa does seem very tough. She is a competent grappler, black belt in her own right. I could see this going to decision. So it's probably what I'm staying away from. Minus 210. It's getting a little bit too wide for my liking.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to lay that juice on that over, Brady. I mean, Karina Silva on the regional scene, 17 of 18 fights finished inside the distance. And when these ladies fought, Was it a finish?
No.
So it did go to decision the first time. Okay. In 2019, yeah. One of the only fights for Barbosa that actually, or for Silva, that did go to decision. That's wild.
Yeah, and she somehow couldn't finish Lipsky. That still makes no sense to me, but
yeah, I was surprised that she was even able to take her down because Lipsky's takedown defense had looked so good. Then she married that De Silva guy who became her head coach, and now she's shit again. So that's a bummer because when she was training with Ansaroff and Nunez, she was really leveling up her game.
Yeah, she was. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, a good fight, but I don't think I'll have any action on this one. Philly saying betting this fight is a big no for me. I'm right there with you. We got Dr. Peter with the $5 donor. He says MMA handsomeness rankings. 1, Hey Jive. 2, Wheezy. 3, Brian Petrie. 4, Brady. His voice, not his face. Appreciate that. 5, Dan Tom. 6, Vitaho. 7, AJ. 8, 138. 9, Cody, and then 10, Brady with the face. Appreciate you, Dr. Peter, for the rankings and the dono. Gotta be Alibi
Idris. Yeah,
I still gotta tape those fights. Fight goes to decision. Eileen, it goes as well. I'll buy some of Brady's lady stuff and make myself feel beautiful again. Yeah, I mean, if you're a guy that likes to put lotion on you, nothing's wrong with that at all. Check it out, man. You're banking on Gasbag Silva to win the later round. Her cardio looked really good in the Silva fight, but her cardio also did not look good in the Araujo fight. And as far as Barbosa, her cardio looked really bad in the Ernesta fight, even though she won. So yeah, both, like Weezy said, both fighters did not have the best cardio at all. Rena's cardio is terrible too, bro. What? Yeah, they're both don't have the best cardio. Fight goes. Karina is nothing special. Yeah, I think she's going to finish a lot of lower level fighters, but I don't think Barbosa's a lower level fighter. It was supposed to be JJ Aldrich, but JJ Aldrich pulled out.
Yeah.
Rick is better than Karina, in my opinion. I'd say so, but probably not as dangerous. That's for sure. Is Silva now fighting nerds? I don't believe so.
I don't know. Let's have a look. See, Karina Silva.
I don't know.
So I'm looking on fight odds, and when you click on the fighter's name, it'll have the camps, and it says Fighting Nerds, Chile Ribeiro, and Santa Fe team. So maybe she did switch over there.
Nice. That's pretty cool. To be honest, I thought Kiriana beat Vivi, banked round 1 and 2, but terrible optics in round 3. Yeah, terrible optics, and judges hate terrible optics. That's for sure. Peener putting that good peen money into good use as always, man.
Yeah.
Any chance of a milk here? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think they're pretty well matched they're both really good grapplers.
Yeah, I think they are very well matched. So Karina Silva blowing out to -210. I'm not sure I agree with that. Barbosa +3.5 makes sense. I would tend to agree. Silva by Splitty City. And if we're talking about a split decision, like -210, I don't know about that. But I do need to look more into this fight. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. And it is going to be Brian Battle versus Nursultan Ruzaboev. You got Brian Battle, 30 years old, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. Nursultan Ruzaboev, 31 years old, 6'5" with a 76-inch reach. Battle 1 year younger. Nursultan with a 4-inch height advantage. It's going to be Battle with a 1-inch reach advantage. We have Battle, who is 4-0 and 1 no contest in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Gabe Green. Submission win against AJ Fletcher. No contest against Angelosa. Knockout win against Kevin Doucette. And then a decision win against Randy Brown. As far as Nursultan Ruzaboev, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Bruno Ferreira. Knockout win against Cedricus Dumas. Decision loss to Joaquin Buckley. Knockout win against Eric McConico. And then a decision win against Dustin Stoltzfus. So, very interesting fight here. When I saw the odds, I was kind of surprised because they've been like really overrating Nursultan in a lot of these lines, throughout his UFC run here. And they have him as the dog here. And I just haven't been a believer in Nursultan. Like, he's very low volume. He does have power. He has no takedown defense. He's not going to wrestle. He does have some submissions that we're working on the regional scene, but I don't think he's subbing anybody in the UFC. But I don't think he's the best minute winner. And if he's not knocking you out, I'm not sure he's going to be able to win a lot of fights. But yeah, he's knocked out Cedric Dumas, knocked out Bruno Ferreira, knocked out Eric McConico, and that Stoltzfus fight was definitely competitive. But yeah, Brian Battle, I think, can definitely pose some problems here. Brian Battle is a very high volume striker. Brian Battle can mix in the takedowns. Brian Battle can grapple. He's a guy that's been looking a lot better. He did cheat in his last fight against Randy Brown. Weezy, he came in there, a couple pounds overweight, and used that weight advantage to his advantage and pushed Brown against the cage for 15 minutes. So that was annoying. But yeah, Brian Battle's a really good fighter. And he's tough as well, which I think is going to come into play, that toughness, because I'm not sure Ruzabov's going to be able to knock him out. So yeah, I like Battle here, but I was hoping to kind of, sneak one past the books here, maybe get a, more playable line, but it looks like they do have Battle as the favorite. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I've been trying to fade Ruzaboyev regularly. I even bet on Eric McConico against this dude.
Oh,
I bet on Dustin Stoltzfus against this dude. I think I bet on Bruno Ferreira against this dude. I've been getting reamed betting against Ruzaboyev, and he just keeps getting better and better. Even against Stoltzfus, he was showing improved takedown defense in a get-up game. He wasn't just willing to play jiu-jitsu off of his back. He really made Dustin work. Eric McConico is a guy with a wrestling background. He wasn't able to get anything going wrestling-wise against Nursultan. So this guy's got a ridiculous frame for the division, and he's got a ton of experience. And he's just got a really difficult style to deal with because he just waits. He realizes that if he waits to counter, that he can kind of really control the pace of a fight because of his unusual height and reach for the division. Now, Brian Battle is a confirmed cheater, but they're not going to let him do it anymore, Brady. They moved him back up to 185. They said, no, we're not going to let you show up at 175 pounds for the welterweight division and then cage push your way to a fucking split decision. Now you're moving back up to 185, and you're going to have to fight with the middleweights because you can't make 170. So this is going to be a really tricky matchup for Brian. What we think is the best parts of Brian's game, the volume. He's not going to be throwing as much volume against this guy. You look at Nursultan's numbers up there. Look at what his opponents are throwing. Distance strikes per minute. Look at that number, Brady.
It's not great, man.
1.7.
Yeah.
He's absorbing 1.7 distance strikes per minute, and Brian Battle is landing 8.5. So there's no way to get around the fact that people just don't throw a lot of volume against Nursultan Naruzaboyev. Now, to be fair, he did fight Eric McConico, who I've never really even seen throw a punch. But,
and Dumas didn't throw a punch.
Yeah, and Dumas didn't either, right? And he got poked in the eye and then finished almost immediately. But, we saw in the Bruno Ferreira fight how this guy can hurt you, because you kind of saw Ferreira be like, all right, fuck it, I'm rushing in. And he rushed in and Nursultan cleaned his clock and dropped him. So I think that we got a possibility that this is going to be a weird one for Brian Battle because he's going to have to try to close the distance against this guy. Nursultan doesn't make it easy to do that. And we can't really count on Brian to offensively wrestle to win minutes. So it's going to be about how he kind of handles the length of Nursultan Ruzaboyev. And he handled it pretty well against Randy Brown, but that was a guy who weighed in at 170 pounds. This guy's going to be weighing in at 185. And I think and he's 6'5" with a 76-inch reach. So I don't know, man. This is going to be a really fascinating fight to write up and break down because I don't think either one of these guys is going to be able to fight at the pace that they're comfortable fighting at.
Yeah, I think it is interesting. But there's no doubt in my mind. I think Battle is going to be the minute winner, but could definitely see Ruzabov land some big shots here for sure. We got Battle opened up minus 140, currently minus 175. Ruzabov opened up plus 120, currently plus 150. The over-under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 plus 100. The under 2.5 is minus 130. I think it goes over personally. Both guys are super, super tough. Ruzabov, has he ever been finished?
He's been finished twice, but it was so long ago, dude. The guy's this is going to be his 50th professional fight, Brady.
Yeah. And
he's only 31 years old. That's crazy.
It is crazy. So I think he's next level durable. And then I think that Battle's never been knocked out. So yeah, I kind of think it goes to decision.
Agreed.
What a fight. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. Pass fight. Philly saying I feel a finish in this fight. Maybe, yeah, potentially. Battle will smoke Ruzaboev. I find Ruzaboev to be quite overrated. Yeah, same. But maybe sharp MMA guys don't rate him that highly. Ruzaboev at plus money. Battle late. Maybe. Under 2.5 rounds, in my opinion. The bookies finally realized he's overrated. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Battle to be this big of a fit. I thought it'd be a lot closer personally, just because they've been really overrating Ruzaboev. Probably another decision. Londo liking Battle here. We got Narco saying Karina Silva confirmed a fighting nerd. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. Point deduction. Yeah, Battle cheats a lot. Could see a point deduction. Would you guys say this is Battle's natural weight class? I don't know. I mean, he looked kind of rough every time he weighed in at 170. So I think this probably is his natural weight class. I don't know how he made 170. You know what I'm saying?
That's Brian Battle, all right.
I feel like anything can happen in this fight. Not worth betting aside. Just the under. Haymaker saying over 1.5. Look at what Buckley did to Ruzaboev. Now imagine what Battle will do. Well, I do think Buckley's a lot better than Battle, but
Buckley had to wrestle him.
Yeah. And I think he can't. I mean, Ruzaboev is takedown defense is a Kimura. 8 more likes to get to 100. There we go. Heck yeah. Appreciate you guys. Battle is beating this dude. Daniel liking the fight goes the distance. Battle, diversity of strikes will get him the nod, I fear. I thought Brown probably deserved to win as well, and I had a bet on Brown by decision, so that one hurt, especially with Battle cheating. Buckley almost killed him. Over 2.5. Your wife sell baby oil in bulk. And we got to get the baby oil on there. Right now, no baby oil, but there are multiple lotions as well, Lucisoli, so go check them out. All right, I say we move on to the next fight, and it is going to be a very weird one here. This is a very weird fight to me. We got Edson Barbosa going against Drakkar Klose. We got Barbosa, 39 years old, 5'11", with a 75-inch reach. Drakkar Klose, 37 years old, 5'9", with a 70-inch reach. Klose is 2 years younger. Barbosa with a 2-inch height advantage and a 5-inch reach advantage. Barbosa was he 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Knockout loss to Giga Chikadze. Decision loss to Bryce Mitchell. Knockout win against Billy Quarantillo. Decision win against Sadiq Youssef. Oh, he's 2-3 in his last 5. My bad. And then a decision loss against Lerone Murphy. As far as Drakkar Klose, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Brandon Jenkins. A decision win against Rafa Garcia. A knockout win against Joe Selecki. A decision win against Joaquin Silva. And then a knockout loss to Joel Alvarez. So for me, Weezy, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this fight. But for me, like, this is borderline 1-800 gambler for me. So I think both these guys, their chin is just dust. Ever since Drakkar Klose, remember the Drakkar Klose Jeremy Stevens fight where they were supposed to fight and Stevens pushed him so hard that he got like a concussion or something horrible happened, right?
So he got pushed right after cutting weight. And so a lot of that fluid in your brain that protects it isn't there. There was some kind of a brain and a neck injury because your body is just so vulnerable when you're taking that much fluid out of it. So yeah, he hasn't been the same since then. And I'm pretty sure that, like, before the Brandon Jenkins fight, Drakkar probably took about 2 years off because of that shove.
Yeah, it was horrible. I think that really, like, honestly ruined his career. Like, I think the Dariush fight was, I think, before the Stevens fight, but he got knocked out there. And then his chin really hasn't been tested. I mean, Brandon Jenkins isn't going to test shit, right?
Yeah.
Rafa Garcia, I don't think he has one knockout win ever. Joe Selecki, same thing, no knockout wins. Joaquin Silva, he has some power, right? And he almost finished Drakkar Klose twice in that 3rd round. Silva dropped him in the 3rd round, got him in a deep guillotine, and then Alvarez finished the job and knocked him out. I think Drakkar Klose's chin is complete dust. I think I'm really worried about Drakkar Klose taking any type of hard shots. And then on the flip side, you got Edson Barbosa, who's just taken so much damage throughout his career. And I think his chin's dust. I mean, this guy's doing the chicken dance anytime you touch him. I mean, it's ridiculous. He somehow managed to go 25 minutes with Lerone Murphy getting hurt multiple times, got hurt and almost finished by Sadiq Youssef, got dropped by Bryce Mitchell, of all people, got the brakes beaten off him by Giga Chikadze. Edson Barbosa, I don't like how he's reacting to shots. Anytime somebody hits him clean, he's doing the stanky leg in there. So I think we have two fighters that are, quite frankly, on their way out. Jakar is younger by 2 years, but I don't think he can take a shot. Barbosa's older by 2 years, and I don't like the optics of when he's taking shots. So somebody has to win this fight, and I don't know. Which fighter has a little bit left in the tank. I don't know, but if you can answer that question, you'll get your winner. This is one of the closer line fights in the card. -150 for Barbosa, +130 for Close. I think one of these guys could potentially get knocked out here. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree with you because obviously Close's durability issues are very upfront right now. We all know about it after the incident with Jeremy Stevens, and then we've seen Barbosa like basically get knocked out 5 times in the first round by Sadiq Youssef, and then somehow come back to win that fight somehow because Sadiq didn't do anything the rest of the fight. He got the brakes beaten off of him by Laron Murphy, and that fight was over a year ago, Brady. So at 39 years old, Edson's old. He's moving back up to lightweight now, and I think that's a good thing. He was always kind of a big lightweight, and then at 36, 37 years of age, you're moving down to featherweight and making that extra weight cut. So that could have had something to do with the potential durability issues. We could see that solved this time around because he's moving back up to 155. And Drakkar Klose isn't a big hitter. Barbosa is, though. If Barbosa hits you clean, he can absolutely knock you out. So what I think is going to happen here is we're going to see Drakkar do what he always does, which is close the distance and clinch. When I look at the clinch striking statistics for both of these fighters, if I was coaching Drakkar, I'd be telling him, dude, clinch this guy, wrestle this guy. Over 12 UFC fights, Drakkar Klose has outlanded his opponents 200 to 106 in the clinch, while Barbosa has been outlanded 56 to 53 in 25 fights. So Barbosa really doesn't do any work in these control time positions with his striking. So if I'm coaching Drakkar, I'm telling him, protect your chin, son, close the distance, clinch up with this guy and try and take him down. If you can fight this fight in the phone booth, that's where Drakkar is going to do his best work. And then Edson's obviously going to have to try to keep the distance here, keep this at kickboxing range, and land the bigger shots, win the rounds on damage, potentially find a KO. But I got a feeling that this one's going to cruise over Brady because I see there being a lot of clinching here. I don't think that Drakkar is going to want to, let Edson do what he does best, which is give him range and let him kickbox.
I mean, if you see a lot of clinching, then Jakar is going to win, right?
Yeah, he's good there, Brady. He's really good there, and he's always been good there. And we've seen him go to that over and over and over again. And if you're trying to protect your chin, of course you're clinching up. So it makes sense that that's how this fight's going to take place if these guys fight smart. But, oftentimes they don't. The over 2.5 here is -170. And even with my view of the fight, where I do think it's going to clinch and go over, no way I would lay -170 on an over when Close and Barbosa have been getting dropped. And like you said, you don't like the way that either one of them is reacting to shots right now.
I think their chins are toast. So, yeah, it's a weird fight. I don't know if I'll get to something here in this one. If anything, it's probably an under just because I think both guys have no durability at this point.
And you're getting plus money.
It's plus. Yeah, it's plus. It did open up a plus 200. It got wrecked, but
okay.
Yeah, it's borderline 100. I couldn't lay a dollar on either one of these guys. I don't want to bet on Barbosa, and he does the stanky leg if anything lands, and then Drakkar Klose can go down easy. Like, it's a rough one. It's a rough one.
It feels like -150 for Barbosa is just about perfect, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's more dangerous, and I've thought Drakkar has been done for a while. But at the same time, I don't like how Barbosa's reacting to these punches, man. I mean, he gets hit clean once, and it's like he's doing the stanky leg out there. It's bad. Oh, but like you said, he's coming back up a weight class. I'd like to see that. That could definitely help.
Yeah.
Can we get a special edition Stat Diggers candle so when we both with candles, can we get smell Brady? No. Come on, man. Barbosa hates being pressured. Close marches him down like a poor man's Gaethje. Yeah, I think this fight's going to be exciting, actually. I think these two are going to go at it at the very least.
Yeah.
I've been using Brady's wife's nurse cream on all my patients. Atrophied, ding dong. What does atrophied mean?
So like when something atrophies, it no longer works anymore. It's like it rots. Like you can your muscles can kind of atrophy if you're stuck in bed for a while. You know, like you get bedridden and you're sick, and then you'll go to stand up and your legs won't even carry your weight because they haven't been used to. So like yeah. Well, I mean, like, hey, look, this is why we're not doctors, Brady. You and I, we'd rather watch somebody get hurt in a cage than actually help them. Dr. Peener helps people who really need help. I hate helping people.
Yeah. Not everybody can be like SD Dumas out there at the, giving out canned foods to the homeless and walking old ladies across the street. You know, not everybody can be SD Dumas. Close isn't good. So how old will Barbosa look? And yeah, I was looking through Close's wins. It's like Brandon Jenkins, Joe Selecki, Rafa Garcia, Joaquim Silva. Edson Barbosa has been fighting the best of the best for a while.
Yep.
So it is.
Yeah, strength of schedule advantage is on the Barbosa side as well as the striking advantage.
Yeah. Minus 150 Barbosa, plus 130 on Close there. Yep, Barbosa is the favorite. Drakkar Close made a decision on what kind of man he wanted to be in real life when he got that god-awful chest tattoo of the state of Michigan, okay? Well, I'm just saying I smell violence. Barbosa by old school leg kicks. Godfather saying fight doesn't go to decision. Feels like a finish in this fight. Close to passing on this one. I'm right there with you. He's very close to betting on the under.
Okay.
Probably a Barbosa decision. What 39-year-old is that lean and muscular? No 39-year-olds are that lean and muscular.
None that I know of except for Edson.
Yeah. Closest last KO win was against Brandon Jenkins. Yes, shout out Brandon. We got to get Brandon Jenkins back in there.
Dude, he kicked Brandon Jenkins' ass, dude.
He looked good. He looked good. He looked very good. Barbosa has a nice spinning old kick. Yeah, we saw Muslim Salikov just go out there and get an old knockout. We could see Barbosa get an old knockout here. I could see it.
Spinning old kick.
Damn it, guys. I told myself I wouldn't cry this podcast thing. No problem, Dr. Peener. We got you. Close got his back broke at a UFC weigh-in. How tough can he be? So it was a hard push. It was definitely a hard shove.
Dude, I wonder how many people would be able to handle the weight cuts that these guys do. That would kill so many people. So many people would never even make it to fight night. So yeah, getting shoved by Jeremy Stevens just after you drop 15 pounds in the last 48 hours. Yeah, you're gonna get messed up bad. It
was a very hard shove. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Chase Hooper going against Alexander Hernandez. We got Chase Hooper, 25 years old, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Alexander Hernandez, 32 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. We got Chase Hooper, 7 years younger. He's going to have a 4-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. Hooper, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Nick Fiore. A submission win against Jordan Levitt. A submission win against Slava Borshev. A submission win against Clay Guida. And a decision win against Jim Miller. As far as Hernandez, he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Jim Miller. Decision loss to Bill Algeo. Decision loss to Damon Jackson. Decision win against Austin Hubbard. And a decision win against Kurt Hollabaugh. So I think this could potentially be the milking of the week, just right off the bat. Like if you're thinking about a milking, two things come to mind. Chase Hooper's style. Chase Hooper brings a very milking style. I wonder if Chase Hooper was a farmer, when he was younger, because he brings a very milking style. He goes out there, he pushes a pace that just guys can't keep up with. Guys can't keep up with the pace of Chase Hooper. On the feet, he's throwing a ton. On the ground, he's nonstop submission attempts. Nonstop ground and pound. He's going to look to break you. So Chase Hooper on one hand brings a very milking style. And then you have a guy in Hernandez, a guy that's been known for getting milked. He's been milked time and time again. I mean, we can just go through the milkings of Alexander Hernandez. Remember when Cowboy Cerrone milked him back in the day? Back in 2019, Cerrone milked him for everything he had and knocked him out in the second round. Drew Dober milked Alexander Hernandez, exhausted him, knocked him out in the second round. We saw Renato Moicano milked him, took him down in the second round, submitted him. And then Billy Quarantillo, also a fellow milker, milked him for everything he had and TKO'd Alexander Hernandez in the second round. So he's been milked time and time again, and now he's going against Chase Hooper. So I think it's pretty simple. I think Hernandez needs to knock out Hooper early. He needs to pull a Steve Garcia and knock him out in the first round, because if not, and if Hooper gets this fight down to the ground and extends it round 2, round 3, Hernandez is going to get broken, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly very quickly. So I like Hooper a decent amount. Like, I do worry about, early on, like maybe Hernandez could knock him out early, but the more this fight goes on, the more it's going to favor a guy like Chase Hooper. So Hooper for me, and I think he could milk Hernandez here.
Couldn't agree more, man. I think Chase Hooper's the real deal, dude. This kid is still only 25 years old, but very dangerous jiu-jitsu, but it's the pace. The pace is just what makes him such a dangerous fighter. He's attempting 15.2 distance strikes per minute. That's 3.6 more than the divisional average. And then he attempts 8.1 takedowns per 15 minutes. That's twice the divisional average. So he's constantly making you defend takedowns. He's constantly making you defend submissions. The guy can scramble for 15 minutes straight. And he's so offensive that it's almost impossible to find areas where you're not defending against this guy. He does get hit a lot at distance striking range. Like, Chase is getting hit 5.5 times per minute that he spends at distance striking range. But you look at the significant strikes absorbed, it's only 3.1 per minute. So this guy is spending 60% of his UFC octagon time in those control time positions, and he's just mauling people there, Brady. Chase Hooper, you don't think of him as like a big physical guy, but he's outlanding his opponents 59-27 in significant clinch strikes. And he's outlanding his opponents 135-66 in significant ground strikes. So he lands 3.02 clinch ground strikes per minute and only absorbs 1.45. 1.12 reverses per 15 minutes, 2.11 submission attempts per 15 minutes. So this guy, over 11 UFC fights, has attempted 15 submissions and completed 8 reversals and gotten 21 takedowns on 58 attempts. So it just, I guess that's a really long way of saying that he never fucks off. Chase just never fucks off. He's going to stay in your face. He's going to throw a ton of volume. The guy's got a very reliable chin. He doesn't look like he would, but he's got a very reliable chin. And then once the fights go to the ground, he just makes you defend, and he can out-scramble you. He can beat you to all the positions. If you reverse him, he'll just reverse you back or find a submission to get back to his feet. So he's a really good fighter. I'm kind of surprised this line isn't wider. I think Chase Hooper's a serious fucking problem. And this reminds me of the Quarantillo fight for where Hernandez fought Quarantillo and he just got broken.
Yeah, I definitely would tend to agree. So Hooper opened up minus 145. Wow. Yeah, that's something, huh?
One of the bookies know that we don't.
Minus 145 is kind of wild.
That's a weird one. Like, if I was working at a book and like somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to open this line there," I'd be like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah, minus
like, what do you mean? Like, Chase Hooper's fucking younger. What has Hernandez done to make you think that he shouldn't be anything but like plus 300 here? I don't know how he wins this fight.
Yeah, it had to be like an early catching him early type thing.
I don't even know if he outstrikes him, to be honest with you.
No, especially as the fight goes on. So yeah, you open at minus 145. He's currently minus 280. So yeah, that line got smashed. Hernandez opened at plus 125. He's currently plus 240. So nothing but love on Chase Hooper since the opener there. The Hooper sub prop is going to be more ass than Steve. I don't know if that's possible. Hooper should make it look pretty easy there. Strangely excited for this fight. I'm really excited for this fight. Chase the Dream, round 2, round 3, or decision. Chase better not stand and strike. Hooper potentially a safe parlay piece. I can see it. Alexander SpongeBob SquarePants looking ass Hernandez. Okay. Hooper in round 2 starts. Hooper breaks his opponents with relentless pace and activity. Exactly. Like an Energizer bunny. Hernandez has it coming for him. Gotten away with eking out decision. Yeah, he's had it coming for him for a long time. Hooper sub 3. We got Chase Hooper's the Goon King. It's the secret to his card. Yeah, he admitted that he's a gooner, Chase Hooper. What's up, boys? This card is a banger. What's up, Dravi?
Yeah.
Good to see you in here. I just LOL'd at Chase the Goon King. Did he actually change his nickname to the Goon King?
Let me look on UFC stats because they usually update those.
Wonder if it's
It would be
official.
so awesome if he did that. The dream. It's just the dream for
true.
now. That's what I see on UFC stats. I'll look at the other sites too, but that would be funny if he did that.
Okay, just the dream. Gotcha. All right. What else we got here? Worried about the quick turn for Hooper. He just got worked by Paulo Costa. That's true. Now he's dropping 3 weight classes in a couple of weeks. Yeah, minus 145. It is a little suspicious.
It is. That's weird. Like I would think, with the performances that this kid's been putting on, Chase is on how many? 5 fight winning streak. The last guy to beat him was Steve Garcia.
Yeah, it's been a while since he lost. We got MMA Locker Room. That guy Mills has an interview with Nursultan Ruzaboev. He speaks English. Nursultan.
Yeah, well, he lives here, so he's probably been working on his English because he's been training with the Philly boys.
Okay,
Tom Brady and those guys.
I think he's the only American with one. Check it out, 2K views and growing. Okay, go check out Mills's interview with Nursultan. I love Mills's interviews with Dumas. He has the best interviews with Dumas.
Classics.
Yeah. We've been wanting to rip a BJ hand or a blackjack hand with you for years now, Weezy. We will see you at the UC.
Hell yeah, that's the United Center, but as I call it, Brady, it's Chicago Stadium. Where we're going to watch the fights is where the Chicago Blackhawks play, where the Chicago Bulls play. Where and greatness happened in that building. With Michael Jordan. I grew up watching Michael Jordan win all those championships in that building. And United Airlines is a pretty shitty airline with bad service. So calling that iconic arena the United Center feels wrong to me. I still call it Chicago Stadium, and we're about to see some great fights over there, man.
Love it.
And I'll see you there, Ryan. I'll see you guys. Keep an eye out for me. Me, Brady, Avery would be happy to take pictures, shake hands, say what's up to all of you guys, and maybe we can find a place to get ripped after the fights too.
Yeah, you can't miss us. We're like 6'3" and 6'4".
Yeah. We'll be some of the bigger guys in the room. Brady's bigger than me, and I'm pretty big.
Yeah. We got Dr. What? Dr. Peter Jr. My dad is right. Gooning gives you great cardio. Okay. What the heck? How much gooning did Hooper do this camp? We'll have to ask him. A little Peener in the building. Okay. Micro Peen.
Okay.
Back to the drum board. Need to see Weezy coming at UFC 319. What's going on? What's wrong with you guys, man? All right, let's move on to the next fight. And oh yes, here it is. We got Jessica Andrade going against Lupe Godinez. We got Andrade, 33 years old, 5'1" with a 62-inch reach. Lupe Godinez, 31 years old, 5'2" with a 61-inch reach. Lupe, 2 years younger, 1-inch height advantage is going to be Andrade with a 1-inch reach advantage. Jessica Andrade, 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Submission loss to Tatiana Suarez. Knockout win against Mackenzie Dern. Decision win against Marina Rodriguez. Decision loss against Natalia Silva, and a submission loss to Jasmine Jazz the Vicious. As far as Lupe Godinez, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. A submission win against Lise Reed. Decision win against Tabitha Ricci. A decision loss to Verna Jandaroba. Decision loss against Mackenzie Dern. And then a decision win against Julia Palastri. So, yeah, looking forward to this card. I mean, if fights were lined based off of who's more handsome, I think Andrade would probably be the biggest favorite in UFC history because she is very, very handsome. But it's an interesting fight. It's one of those fights where it's like we're gonna test Lupe's fight IQ a little bit. Is Lupi going to go out there and strike with Andrade and get her ass whooped for 15 minutes? Or is she going to go out there and exploit the ground game of Andrade, who, quite frankly, her ground game at this stage of her career just looks really bad. It looks really bad at this stage of her career. And yeah, she lost to Jasmine in the first round, but lost to Blanchfield by second round submission and swore. So she is losing to very good grapplers, don't get me wrong, but it's like how it's like so easy. Like they're taking her down, getting into dominant positions with no resistance and getting finished. So I think it's going to come down to Lupi to use that wrestling. She's a good wrestler. She's a good grappler, take down Andrade. And if not, Andrade will win this fight. So it's a fight IQ test for Godinez. And I posted this picture earlier today, and it's a quote from Jasmine Jazz DeVicious. And it says, she does have holes, looking forward to filling those holes. And I actually tagged Lupi. I said, take notes, Lupi Godinez. And that's what she needs to do. Jessica Andrade has holes. I can confirm. I've seen them. I've watched the tape. I've looked into her fights. I've seen the holes, and I've seen them time and time again. But it's up to Lupi to fill those holes, to penetrate those holes, to take her down, and to implement that game plan. So fight IQ test for Lupi. She's failed the fight IQ test in the past. I'll never forgive her for the Angela Hill fight. But she needs to wrestle here. So very interesting fight. Weezy, what are your thoughts about this one?
So I wanted to ask you, like, for instance, Jessica Andrade, we've seen her get milked by a lot of like big flyweight grapplers, right? Erin Blanchfield, Jasmine Jazz DeVicious, even Tatiana Suarez, who's a 115er. Obviously she's elite on the ground, but is Lupi Godinez elite on the ground, Brady?
She's not elite. She's good, though.
She's solid. She's a really good wrestler. She can win minutes with it, but she's definitely not elite there. And I don't know who Lupi is going out there and taking down that doesn't suck at MMA, right? When we see Lupi getting takedowns, it's against who? Ariane Carlossi, Elise Reed, Silvana Gomez Juarez, right? Has she ever like taken down and dominated a strawweight like Jessica Andrade?
Well, you could argue Andrade's grappling looks like Elise Reed lately, but no.
Yeah, but it looks like Elise Reed, like against Jasmine, who's to be fair, she's running through everybody, except for Tracy Cortez, who's a phenomenal wrestler in her own right. I don't know, man. This is a tricky one because I feel like Lupi is a really good, well-rounded fighter. She's got solid boxing, solid cardio, solid wrestling. And when you have that combination of attributes, you can pick where the fight takes place and you can kind of control the pace and location of the fight. And, in order to do that against somebody that hits as hard as Jessica does, because Lupi's got one knockdown in 13 UFC fights. Jessica Andrade's got 7 knockdowns, and Jessica actually fights kind of smart. One of the things that she really does, that last 15 seconds of every round, she tries to kill you. And she gets a lot of people out of there in the last 10 to 15 seconds of a round because she knows how to bank rounds on damage. She knows how to be the one moving forward, to be the one that's landing the bigger shots. So I don't like this matchup for Lupi because I'm not sure if she's ever dominated somebody on the ground that's Jessica Andrade's level. I think that everybody that Lupi has drowned on the ground would probably be plus 400 versus Jessica. Unless I'm missing one, right? I don't know if I'm missing a performance where it was like, oh, Lupi did that against that girl. Like the wins are, so a Tabitha Ricci split decision with no grappling. She got 5 takedowns against Elise Reed. She only got 1 takedown against Emily Ducote, dude.
Oh.
She had to outstrike Emily Ducote, and Ducote's a well-rounded fighter, right? Cynthia Calvillo, she gets 0 takedowns. Now she went out there and she rinsed Ariane Carnelossi. She rinsed a Muay Thai fighter in Loma Lookboonmee. She got a couple of takedowns against Luana Carolina, but that was up a weight class and she wasn't able to win that fight. And she rinsed Silvana Gomez Juarez, but I haven't seen her do it to anybody with a pulse. Julia Pilastri in the last fight, she got 5 takedowns off of Julia, but We've seen that happen to Julia before. Julia fought Jasmine Jasdavicius on Contender Series, and that's exactly how she lost. So I don't know, man. Loopy's got to prove it to me that she could do it against a fighter of Jessica's level. But, Jessica's just been so inconsistent over the last 5 years that it's hard to back her either. So it's a definitely weird. It's a weird fight, man.
Yeah, it's been weird with Andrade. Some fights she's been showing up and looking really good, and some fights she looks like she didn't even train for the fight. It's been really weird.
She destroyed Mackenzie Dern.
Yeah.
Like that's that would scare me if I was Loopy. If I was watching that tape, I'd be like, shit. I mean, obviously Loopy's a better wrestler than Mackenzie is, but that's scary because Mackenzie Dern's extremely durable too.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, Loopy opened up minus 210, currently minus 150. So money is pouring in on Andrade. Andrade opened up plus 180, currently plus 130. The over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 minus 325. The under 2.5 is plus 250. Let's see if Loopy penetrates those holes.
Yes.
No faith in Godinez because Loopy is so up and down. I got to lean with Andrade. Poopy Loopy is toast. Loopy Godinez, Loopy by decision. Loopy as a favorite. She might not be the favorite by fight time. Money's pouring in on Andrade. Loopy got the fight IQ of a brick. Yeah, it'd be wise for her to wrestle here. You penetrate those holes, yes. Milk those holes dry. We could potentially see a milking here. Poopy Godinez. Peener Jr. is wild. He is wilding. You can go to some adult sites and see hella close-up of Jessica. I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
The milking of Jessica Andrade. Terrible, awful holes. They say when Andrade bends over, you can hear the sounds of World War II soldiers screaming.
That was a brutal war.
Yeah. Okay. Brady spends a lot of his free time studying Andrade's holds on her OnlyFans. No, that's not true. We're talking crater level hole. Her ground games looked crater level bad recently. Loopy has at least one WTF are you doing moment every fight. That's so true.
Yeah.
Loopy L fight IQ. Not a big fan of the Happy Dad hat. I don't mind the Happy Dad hat. Didn't Andrade just beat Miles Johns last night? Pretty much.
Poor G Matsumoto. He didn't deserve that.
He doesn't. Jessica sucks now. Yeah, in some fights she does look like it's kind of hard to know which version of Andrade showed up. I mean, she really doesn't have much motivation, it feels like. She's getting paid a ton to show up though.
Yeah.
That's for sure. How are the WikiFeet scores looking on this one? Well, let me go to WikiFeet. And by the way, we're not sponsored by WikiFeet, but Andrade, Jessica, there she is. Jessica Andrade with a 4.61 WikiFeet score, 161 different photos if you want to check them out. Okay. And then Loopy Godinez, Loopy, 102 photos. Oh, God. A 4.12 WikiFeet score. Okay. Not great. Not great. But looks like Andrade has the better feet score, believe it or not.
Fair enough.
Believe it or not.
WikiFeet has spoken.
We got your ex-wife, Janet. Has anyone seen my husband? That digweed owes me $400 for the lot payment. I haven't seen.
God. Yeah, I haven't seen your husband, Janet. Ex-husband.
Yeah. We love penetration and Andrade. What's wrong with you, dude? What's wrong with you, Marcel? Jasmine looked like Chimaev against Jazz. Well, to be fair, Jasmine is Chimaev. But at the same time, it took Jasmine 2.5 rounds to finish Cachoeira. Jasmine hasn't really ever finished anybody in the first round. But yeah, Jasmine is the female Chimaev. Can you drop the link of the website so I can avoid it? No, once we get sponsored by WikiFeet, I'll definitely drop the link there. We got Jaffer Raza with the 1, and I appreciate you, Jaffa, saying, or is it Jaffer?
Jaffer, I think, yeah.
Jaffer. You have 319. I know you like going to the good card. I typically go to the best cards, to be honest. But yes, I will be at UFC 319.
Yes.
And that, yeah, Jazz is typically a milking extender. She likes to extend it a little bit, and I had the Jasmine 2-3 props against Andrade. I'm like, really, Jessica, Really show something. It looked like she just straight up quit. It was horrible. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We have a good one here. We got Mikhail Olazechuk going against Gerald Mearshart. We got Mikhail Olazechuk, 30 years old, 6 foot with a 74-inch reach. Mearshart, 37 years old, 6'1" with a 77-inch reach. Mikhail, 7 years younger. Mearshart with a 1-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage. GM3 is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. A decision loss to Andre Petrosky. Submission win against Brian Barberena. Submission win against Edmund Shabazian. Submission loss to Reinier de Ritter. And a decision loss to Brad Tavares. As far as Mikhail Olazechuk, he has 2-3 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Chidi Njokwani. Submission loss to Michelle Pereira. Submission loss to Kevin Holland. A decision loss to Shar Magomedov. And then a knockout win against SD Dumas. So this fight to me is absolutely fascinating because, you know, on the feet, it's not even close at all. Like on the feet, it is one-way traffic. Mikhail is going to destroy Mearshart when this fight's standing. I mean, the strike in Mikhail Olazechuk's incredible. He's training at Fighting Nerds now, which I think is a really smart move for the guy because the guy just can't grapple at all. But yeah, I love the pressure, the body work, the combinations, the volume, and the power. He mixes the striking up very beautifully. The problem with Mikhail Olazechuk and why this fight is so interesting is because he just can't grapple at all. Like we're talking Elise Reed grappling. He's been submitted like 5 or 6 times. For Mikhail Olazechuk here, the ground is lava. It doesn't matter what round it is. Mearshart's typically a 2-3 guy. If the fight hits the ground in any round, Mikhail Olazechuk is in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. So he needs to keep the fight standing, and he needs to touch the chin of Mearshart and touch it early. I think somebody's getting served here, whether it's Olazechuk with a brutal first-round knockout, second-round knockout, or if Mearshart is able to drag this fight to the mat somehow, or if Mikhail, drops him and goes into his guard, like we could see a Mearshart sub. So, yeah, I like violence here first and foremost. I think it's a very binary fight, either Olazechuk by knockout or Mearshart by submission.
I'm going with Olazechuk by submission.
Hey, is that the Fighting Nerd? Maybe Mearshart will tap to strikes.
Yeah, and then this is your perfect striker versus grappler matchup, perfect for a pay-per-view card. We got Mearshart's the local guy here training in Chicago from Wisconsin, so he's going to have the crowd behind him, I'm pretty sure. And Olazechuk's awesome. I love watching this guy fight, and I think he's got a tough style for Gerald because it's hard to take down somebody off of the back foot, and Mihail pressures relentlessly. He loves to get into that pocket, and the combination of the forward pressure and the body work that he throws, it's going to be difficult for Gerald to go out there and get takedowns against this guy. But unfortunately, Mihail has just never done a great job of defending takedowns. He's allowing 2.4 takedowns per 15 minutes, and his takedown defense is 48%.
Oh,
so yeah, I mean, Mihail spends 77% of his UFC octagon time at distance striking range, though, so that's good. He only spends 12% of his octagon time being controlled by his opponents, but it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long if Gerald Mearshart gets you down. The guy is so creative, and he can get submissions from so many different positions. And the way that he just flows down there, whether, just moves with the opponent and lets them make a mistake. It's beautiful to watch. So, yeah, this is both of these guys are very, very live to win this fight. It depends on if Gerald can find those takedowns, because when he fought Tavares, it was pretty clear, that he couldn't get those takedowns against Tavares, but the difference between Tavares' takedown defense and Olazechuk's takedown defense is there's an ocean between them, because Brad has always been a very, very tough guy to take down, while Mihail has given up way too many of them. So yeah, Gerald needs to get this thing down to the ground, and if he does, he's going to have a pretty easy time probably getting to dominant positions and either finishing the fight, or maybe he can win minutes and bank rounds with top time as well. But I think if he gets him down, it's going to finish. And I think that if he doesn't get him down, it's probably going to finish. Where's the under? It's got to be a 1.5 total here, right?
Yeah, they're all over it. 1.5, 1.5 total, which makes total sense. The over 1.5 minus 140. The under 1.5 is plus 110. And I mean, I lean under, but it's like at the same time, how many times have we seen Mearshart get his 2-3 in there? So
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, dude, we've got a 39 fight sample size between these two guys, and 10 of 23 for Mearshart have finished under 1.5. But for Oleksiejczuk, it's 10 of 16. So 62.5% of Oleksiejczuk's fights finish under 1.5 rounds. So yeah, my model still likes the under 1.5 here at plus 110. It says that it's probably a little bit underpriced there. So I see it maybe going to maybe minus 105 or something like that if it's going to be fairly priced. But this is a fascinating fight. I can't wait to see this one, man. You know that the guys at VFS are licking their chops over this matchup, over a guy that they can take him down and grapple him. But if they're unable to get that takedown, I mean, Mihail is a nightmare to deal with on the feet. He's got crazy power and great body work. And his conditioning and durability are both excellent.
Yep, just can't grapple. He needs to fix that grappling up. But I think his striking is great. I love the striking, the power, the volume, the cardio. Just can't grapple. That's why this fight's so fun. Yeah. I think the winner's going to look like a big favorite here in this one.
Great matchmaking.
Absolutely. Would love to grab a pick with you. I'll be there as well. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's get a pick. Uh-oh, we got Avery in the building.
Yes.
What's up? The dream team assembles. Emphasis on ass. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to our guy Avery for not only sponsoring the show, but we'll be seeing him coming up on Friday. Looking forward to it. Fighting Nerds doing wonders on him. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Wasn't he like training in his garage a couple fights ago? Was that?
Yeah, he was, dude. He was training with some friends. He said that he didn't want to pay coaches for a couple of fights.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to keep all the fucking check money that I get. And yeah, and then now he's in Brazil. So it's clear he probably, I think he was, he had maybe a little bit of a burnout. And now it seems like he's back and dedicated again. It happens to some of these guys.
Yeah, he looks motivated, looks good. Polish nerd. You don't see that too often. McKellar by third round sub or Gerald by first round KO.
There you go. That's exactly that's the lazy way to break it down. But yeah, it's the power of Mearshart early, or it's the conditioning and grappling of Oleksiejczuk late. Aussie battler right on top of
it. Oh gosh. Last time GM3 fought, I thought about Weezy timing those overhands lefts with a sun. Yeah, I mean, he looked rough. He looked rough against Tavares.
Dude, he was doing that, reach for the leg and then throw the overhand right, he was kind of like mixing the striking, the grappling together, trying to find that one takedown attempt that would work. And I mean, that's what you have to do. You got to blend it, I mean, if your opponent knows you're going to take him down, you got to try to set it up with your striking. And GM3 was trying to do that. It's just Tavares has seen all that shit before. He's a veteran too.
Yeah. What are the bets are we taking for Avery, Weezy, and Brady? Beers had over under 40. I mean, are we talking all weekend? Because that's going to get destroyed.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. We're going to have 40 beers on Friday.
Yeah, that's getting destroyed. I think he's just talking on one day. And then miscellaneous substances over under 4.5 grams. I would take the over.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a high chance Oleksiejczuk falls over into his guard and gets armbarred. I don't know about a high chance, but there's a chance. And there's a world. There's a world where that could happen. Mearshart will get piped harder than Eileen Perez on OnlyFans. Oh God! And I forgot to hit up Eileen. I was gonna hit up Eileen and have her sponsor the show. Her OnlyFans. Maybe we can plug it.
Right. We should have. Yeah.
Plug her OnlyFans, maybe get a little fraction of the profits over there. I bet she's making a lot. I'm sure people like Dixon Sider and Lou Sasoli are on there.
Yeah, absolutely. She's doing well, man. Like they should do that. Yeah, they should do that. These fighters don't make shit, so branch out. You take advantage of your celebrity and try to make some money.
Post your butthole. I mean, I'd post my butthole for a couple thousand.
I mean, when times are hard, sometimes you gotta take pictures of your butthole.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Vintage Mearshart here. Could see it, man. Yeah. We could see it. And that's why I like Oleksiejczuk here, but at the same time, it's like I can see this going horribly wrong. I could see it going terribly wrong. So But I think there are some solid ways to attack it. What section are we sitting in? I believe it's 109. If I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like 109. What's the line on 31 Atlas being aliens? I don't know.
Who?
I don't know. The nerds will have him ready. Uppercuts should lend itself to takedown defense. We will have to meet during the Karina Silva fight because every other one is good. Yeah, as long as we're not meeting during the Mirror Shartles or the Hooper fight.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for like one of those first round finishes so that we can kind of like make a round while they're waiting 15 minutes and showing a promo or something.
Yeah. I got a couple thousand for that, Brady. Oh, for the butthole picks. Yeah, I mean, why not? Damn, y'all gotta be careful. I know there's some crazy Brady and Wheezy fans out there. Yeah, there's some weird people out there, so you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful out there. There's some really weird people. Luckily, I don't think many people hate me that much. Maybe like one or two people like really hate me. So I think I'm okay. Because I'm a nice guy and I try to be nice. Like I don't think I've ever been mean to anybody. Ever.
Yeah, you're not out there like talking shit about other cappers or talking shit about fight. Like you lose a bet on a fighter, it's not like you're tagging the fighter and be like, "You suck, I could kick your ass, you fat fuck." You don't do that. I don't do that either. I try to blame myself, and boy, did I have to have a talk with myself after betting on Delidze. Jesus Christ.
As long as I don't run into like Nate Maness or who else. Oh, Charles, you can't run into Charles Johnson. He hates you.
Yeah, you know what? And if he wants to have like a rivalry, I'll just pick him to win every fight, and then he'll never win another fight for the rest of his life. Because if I'm picking him to win, he's losing. I cannot get a Charles Johnson fight right, so I'm literally thinking of contacting both of them. And asking them, how much will you pay me to pick your opponent so that you can actually win?
That's a good idea. When times are hard, sometimes you have to take pictures of your butthole. Yeah. Uncle Weezy 2025.
I'm an older gentleman, Brady, but there's some wisdom in this head.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's good advice. Section 109, you say, sign my tits. All right.
Let's go.
Hopefully Colton G is not in Chicago. You fellas will be piped on site. I mean, I'm sure we got Fluffy to back. Fluffy will be in the building. Fluffy
is going to be in the building. He said he was going to be there to confront whoever won the main event in the cage. He wants that title shot next, and I hope he gets it.
Right. I hope so too. He deserves it. Colton G won't show us. I think Colton G's in prison. Like I haven't heard from Colton G. I think he's either in prison or dead. So yeah, I think something bad happened to Colton G. Gosh, you're not talking trash, but you're thinking it. We can tell. Sometimes, man. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Brady's only worry is fighters he told to get some help. Get some help. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Oh gosh, Charles Johnson's gonna show up at your seat with clippers. Oh god, he's gonna give you a skull,
man. I hope not, because he's somewhat local. He might be there, because he's a St. Louis guy, and that's all I need is him showing up with clippers, man.
Dude, I'm pissed, man. I even tweeted. I said if Charles Johnson wins this fight, I'm going to get a Skullet merch, and he didn't. He lost to what was it, Temerov?
Yeah, because I not only picked Johnson, but I bet on him. So I have to apologize to Charles Johnson for that one. That loss is on me. I think that Temerov took a ton of steroids the second I clicked that button to bet on Johnson. And yeah, by the way, Temerov did get busted for steroids.
Did he? Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
he did.
He was supposed to fight somebody recently, and then somebody stepped in to take Temerov's place. I think it might have been Almabayev. When Ochoa stepped in to fight Almabayev, I think he was stepping in for Temerov, who got caught with steroids. So
you hate to see it. Let's see.
Oh, fuck. Big Pharma knows what he's talking about, dude. Roost is amazing for chicken. Holy shit, is Roost good.
I like chicken, so.
Yeah, I know you do.
Love me some chicken. Your scullets will come in naturally. How many likes for a face tat? We'll do 200, but it has to be before the show ends. People are commenting saying we got 200 likes. No, it has to be before the show ends. And also, if we get 200 likes, I will get a skullet, a skullet and a face tat. What a combo! I'll be pulling up to Chicago with a skullet. They might not let me on the plane if I do something like that. I wouldn't let myself on the plane. Like if it's somebody with a skullet and a face tat, just a bad combination. But yeah, if we get 200 likes, I will get a skullet and a face tat. So get to it. All right, yeah, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Face chat. Let's not go that far. Maybe just a teardrop.
Yeah.
A teardrop.
It's a classic. It's a classic. The old teardrop drone. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and that'd be so. I'm hoping we don't get the 200 likes, but we'll see. Maybe you guys can surprise me. All right, moving on to the next fight. Oh God, we got Bobby Green going against Diego Ferreira. What's up with all these older fighters? This last month, a bunch of older fighters, man, and they keep getting it done. But they matched up 2 older fighters together here. It is Bobby Green, Diego Ferreira. We got Bobby Green turning 40 very soon, next month. He's 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. We got Ferreira, 40 years old, 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. We got Bobby Green a year or so younger. He's going to have a 1-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach disadvantage. Bobby Green is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Grant Dawson. How crazy is that looking back? Knocking out Grant Dawson. I mean, that's ridiculous to me. I mean, if they ran that back, Dawson would be minus 2,000 right now. But it happened. It certainly happened. Got knocked out by Jalen Turner, won a decision against Jim Miller, got submitted by Paddy Pimblett, and got knocked out by Mauricio Hufi. As far as Diego Ferreira, he's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Knockout loss to Gregor Gillespie, a knockout loss to Mateus Gamrot, a knockout win against Miles Johnson, a knockout win against Mateus Rambecki, and then a decision loss to Grant Dawson. So I think Green's in trouble. I think Green, for one, he legally changed his name to Green. That should have been the first sign, the first red flag that something's seriously wrong with Bobby Green, legally changing his name to King. But something's going on. Either Bobby Green is extremely washed, and I think that's the most likely scenario. I think that Jalen Turner, it's not even Jalen Turner's fault. Kerry Hatley ruined Bobby Green's career. He ruined Bobby Green's career. Ever since that fight, Bobby Green looks just done. Just nothing left in the tank. Can't take a shot. Looks old. Looks bad. And Jalen Turner, he TKO'd him 3 different times in that fight. I went back and watched that fight the other day, and it's like, Kerry Hatley, what are you doing? And, honestly, you could argue that Kerry Hatley stoppage was potentially worse than the Yaya fight. I went back and I was like, was it really that bad? Yeah, it was. He landed a big shot on Green. Green did the chicken dance, and the next shot floored him. Bobby Green was out, and then he started landing on him. Bobby Green was out. He woke back up, and then he was out again, and then Green still keeps hitting him. Bobby Green's laying there lifeless on the canvas, still getting hit with ground and pound follow-up shots, and Kerry Hatley finally stops the fight. One of the worst stoppages. I'm shocked that Kerry Hatley hasn't been arrested yet for that horrible stoppage, and that changed Bobby Green. That ruined the career of Bobby Green. And I went back and watched the Paddy fight. I'm still convinced to this day that Bobby Green bet Paddy Pimblett by first round submission. He literally went for a takedown for literally no reason, put himself into the sub, and got tapped out. And then the next fight after that at the press conference, he showed up with 2 bundles of cash. He was rubbing it in our face. He showed up with big bundles of cash. Like, he threw the fight. He either threw the fight or something's up. And then he got knocked out brutally by Mauricio Hufi. I think Bobby Green's in serious, serious trouble. I think he's done. I think he's on his way out. He's had a ton of fights. Like, this is going to be his 50th fight or 51st fight. There's a ton of fights, ton of damage. And that Jalen Turner fight was the last straw. And I think it ruined Bobby Green. And he's taken on somebody actually older in Carlos Diego Ferreira. But in terms of fight miles, in terms of years taken off their lives, Bobby Green has just fought a lot more tread on the tires. And I think we're seeing that. Whereas Diego Ferreira, he's still fighting at a very high level. Knocking out Mateus Rambecki, that's not easy to do.
No.
Knocking out Michael Johnson, that's not easy to do. And even in the Grant Dawson fights, like when the fight was on the feet, he was looking good. He was looking solid. Just Grant Dawson was taking him down. So I think Green's in trouble here. I think if this fight hits the ground, Ferreira could sub him, man. I mean, Ferreira could It's like a third-degree black belt, legit grappler. And if this fight's on the feet, Ferreira's still, even at 40 years old, power is the last thing to go. I think he can touch the chin of Bobby Green as well. I think Green's in serious trouble, and it wouldn't shock me if he showed up to this press conference with a couple wads of cash. So he's collecting money. He changed his name, and he should be suing Kerry Hatley, quite frankly, getting even more money. I mean, why not sue Kerry Hatley for what he did to him?
I don't know, man. Like that was hard to watch,
Oh.
But then, what's crazy was the next fight. He comes out there and lands like 200 significant strikes against Jim Miller. He looked career best there.
Yeah, I know.
I had money on Miller. I had him as the dog of the week that week. And I was like, dude, after that generational beating that Bobby Green took, there's no way that he's going to beat Jim Miller here. And dude, he looked phenomenal. He knocked out Grant Dawson in the first round. Like if we're paying attention to MMA math, King Green ran through Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson ran through Diego Ferreira. So it's Green all day. But, the thing about Bobby is now that he's getting older, he's almost 39 years old. That hands down head movement style of defense, man, it's not good, dude. I mean, like, you're going to get slower. I promise you. Take it from a 51-year-old man. You slow down when you get older, and you're usually like the last one to see it as it's happening. And Bobby's getting to that point, but he's fighting another older gentleman here. And Diego is actually the older fighter here at 40 and a half years old. But you talked about it, and it's important to mention. It's the miles on the engine. Ferreira's got 25 fights as a professional, but Green's got 51. So, Ferreira might be the younger guy here in fight years. He's definitely the younger guy in terms of getting finished, because we've seen Bobby Green be finished in 6 times as a professional. He's been knocked out, 9 times as a professional. He's been knocked out 5 times in the UFC, and Ferreira's been knocked out 3 times in the UFC. So, I think it's going to be very competitive on the feet because Diego Ferreira's striking is really underrated. And, I think he's the last guy to beat Johnson, too. If you think about it, what has Michael Johnson done since he got knocked out by Diego Ferreira? I think he's on a 3 or 4 fight winning streak. So clearly Ferreira's still doing it. That win over Rombeski was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He survived round 1 and took a much younger, much hungrier fighter and put him through the rinse cycle in rounds 2 and 3 there and finished him late. And it was like a mercy stoppage at the end of the 3rd round there as Ferreira was just putting it on him. So the dude clearly has still got some gas left in the tank, and he's never been a very active fighter. So I think that his body is probably responding a little bit better at 40 and a half than Green's is at almost 39. But it's a tough fight to call because if you fight Bobby Green's fight, he's tough to beat, dude. He's fast. He's accurate. He's always talking shit, which can kind of get in your head a little bit. And he's faced a really good level of competition at the UFC level. And his wins match up really nice with the wins of Diego Ferreira. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a really good fight. And you don't know what to expect from Green here, just because he lost to Hoofy and Pimblett, it doesn't mean that he can't still fight at a high level.
Yeah, that's true. They're not bad. It's just how the loss. I mean, even before the Hoofy knockout, it's like, I don't know what he was doing in there. Like, he looked like he never been in a fight before. And then he like the Pimblett fight was just a weird look.
Yeah.
Really weird. Like, you don't take down Paddy Pimblett when you have a big striking advantage. So I don't know what's up with Bobby Green, but yeah, we'll see. Money is coming in on Bobby Green. Ferreira opened up -150. He went all the way down to -205. He's currently -155. Bobby Green opened up at +135, went all the way to +175. It's back down to +135. They opened up the over-under at 2.5 rounds. They opened up the under 2.5 at +200, and it got smashed, and they actually took it off, and then they set it at 1.5, which probably makes more sense. But the over 1.5 is -200, and the under 1.5 is +160 there. So very interesting fight there. Yeah. The old standby, the teardrop, yeah. What
It's an
about
American classic.
It is. It is a classic. What about a sword? I mean, 250. 250 likes to get a sword.
That's the Cody Garbrandt.
King Green. It's King Green. His name is not Bobby. It's King. Okay. All right. You guys got it. Brady, it's actually over for you. Bobby Green will show up at your seat and scream, "You're going to call me King Green." Let's see. His name is Bobby. He'll always be Bobby Green to me. I mean, you can't just change your name to Green. I don't know. That's not Bobby Green. That's King Green. Okay. I've never been more angry at a ref than Kerry effing Hatley, the old piece of shit. I'm actually gonna pipe that old prick if I see him. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Yeah. Bobby Green hasn't been the same since the Laura Senko situation. What's the Laura Senko situation, Dr. Peter Jr.?
Not sure what happened there, but that young man's got his own stethoscope and
It's crazy. The odds are close. People are betting Bobby. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, keep betting them, man. Let's get this line closer. Wouldn't mind a ride on this wheezy fella's handlebar. Okay. Did Jalen Turner? No, Jalen Turner did not unretire, as far as I'm concerned. I'm thinking about max betting Ferreira. Do we think the line is going to grow or close? I don't know. So I saw it last or 2 weeks ago. It was minus 150 Ferreira, and then he ballooned up to minus 200, and now he's back to around minus 150. I'm not sure where this line's going to go. We'll have to see throughout the week. Ferreira by ground and pound. Unk versus Unk. One Unk will prevail. One will retire.
Yep.
142 likes. Jeez. Might set a new record of likes. Brady, if you don't sing us out on this show, I'm filing a lawsuit. I don't have anything prepared, though. But I also don't want a lawsuit. Piping Hatley sounds kind of sus, but you do you. Yeah, I don't want to. Hatley. All right. Rumor has it Antonio Tricoli is in Diego Ferreira's corner.
Huh. I didn't hear that. I thought Trockley was kind of like a California dude when he's in the States, and Diego Ferreira trains in Texas.
I don't know. Doesn't Tricoli play like poker now? I thought he's.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he does play poker.
Oh, I don't know if I'm singing Zombie after her performance last night. No, we're probably gonna cut that out. All right. Oh, Bobby Green hit on Mackenzie Dern. Okay.
Huh. I didn't see that.
I didn't know that. All right. We'll keep moving on to the next fight. It is Kai Asakura going against Tim Elliott. We got Asakura, 31 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Elliott, 38 years old, 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. We got Asakura, 7 years younger, 1-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach advantage. Tim Elliott is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. A decision loss to Mateus Nicolau, a decision win against Tagir Ulanbekov, decision win against Victor Altamirano, a submission loss to Muhammad Makayev, and then a submission win against Sumadarji. As far as Kai Asakura, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, made his debut against Alexander Pantoja, went right into a championship fight and lost that fight by submission. So the UFC clearly thinks very highly of Kai Asakura, as they should. He's a very good fighter, but just was a pretty rough matchup in that Pantoja fight in his debut. Now he's taken a step down in competition against a Tim Elliott, who it's been a while since we've seen Elliott in there, hasn't it? It's been probably over a year, right? Oh my gosh, a year and 8 months. A year and 8 months since we've seen Tim Elliott. I don't like that. I don't like that. He's almost a 39-year-old flyweight. I don't like it for Tim Elliott here. So, yeah, I think Asakura gets back on track here after he lost a title shot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a very tough matchup for Asakura in his MMA day or in his UFC debut here. Getting a title shot against Pantoja, it didn't go well for him, but it's a different fight here against Elliott. And Elliott's a tough opponent for anybody because he's really difficult to prepare for. He fights with a style that you just don't usually see. His striking is weird. His wrestling is weird, but he puts it all together and he kind of creates this high energy, high output, scrambly type of fight. And he can kind of thrive in those type of fights. He beat Tagir Ulanbekov fighting that way. And, he's won 3 out of his last 4 fights, with the only loss coming against Muhammad Makayev. So Tim's still fighting at a high level, but a year and 8 months, that's 20 months without a fight. And I don't know if he was injured at all. Let me look here real quick to see if he had any fights that were scheduled to happen but didn't. So he was supposed to fight Tatsuro Taira in May of 2024. So that was over a year ago. And he had to withdraw from that fight. And then he doesn't do anything until he does at EBI, the featherweights, he did a grappling match against Alexis Torres and won it or lost it in round 1 in early 2025. So, yeah, obviously some kind of an injury kept him out of the Taira fight. And that Taira fight was supposed to happen, looks like 14 months ago, maybe 15 months ago. So clearly there's been a big amount of inactivity here on the Elliott side, and he's pushing 39 years old as a flyweight. So those are really bad combination of trends, because activity is so important, and the longer the layoff is a worse indicator the older you get as a fighter. So I do think that this could be a situation where we might not see the same Tim Elliott that we're used to seeing, just because of the layoff and the inactivity and the age. But I mean, we know what to expect from this guy. I mean, if he gets his game going against Kai, starts wrestling him, starts winning some minutes on the ground, it could be a tough one, because Kai Asakura kind of depends on power. This guy has got 21 wins, and 13 of them are by knockout. 3 of them are by submission. But he is 5-1 to the decision, so he's also done a pretty good job of winning minutes. But the level of competition, Brady, it's a big difference here. For Tim Elliott has fought Demetrius Johnson. I mean, he had him in trouble in round 1. There's some high-level opponents that this guy has fought, so I'm not sure what to do with this one yet. But it's good to see Tim Elliott back. I always enjoy watching his fights. Nobody quite fights like Tim Elliott, and he's really exciting to watch. I wish his cardio was a little bit better. He does definitely slow down late in fights, and that bothers me. But with the kind of pace that he pushes, I suppose we can expect that.
Yeah, I wonder what he's been up to. Did he get his real estate license or anything?
Not that I know of, dude. Not that I know of, but I know he's got a kid. They had a divorce. Him and Gina got divorced. So yeah. he's had some personal shit going on, I'm sure. And yeah, a year and 8 month layoff, that's a big deal at the age of 38 when you're a flyweight.
Is he even like training? Like I'm looking at his Instagram. The last training video or picture I see is from like Glory MMA and Fitness.
Whoa, like that was a long time ago.
100 weeks ago. That's the last thing I've seen of like a training video. 99 weeks ago, Glory MMA.
Yeah, I've still got his gym listed as Glory MMA because I don't know where he's training. Does anyone know where he's training?
I don't know if he's even training, man.
Huh.
Is he training?
He did have that fight in EBI, which is the Eddie Bravo Invitational. So he had that fight a few months ago, and he got submitted in the first round there. Grappling competition.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat is Tim Elliott training for this fight? I don't know.
Yeah, because if he's not, then we gotta like Kai, don't we?
A little bit. All right, we got Kai Asakura opened up -250. He's -270. Tim Elliott opened up +210. He's currently +210. The over/under set at 2.5 rounds. The over 2.5 -145. The under 2.5 is +115. The under took a hit. The under was +165. Tim Elliott's a tough dude, though. Like, how many times has Elliott been knocked out? Not much, right?
He's been submitted 5 times in the UFC, 6 times as a professional, but he's only been knocked out once in 34 professional fights. So, yeah, the dude's durable.
And Asakura, although he can grapple a little, I don't know if Asakura is submitting him. Who knocked out Elliott? Was it in the UFC?
Nobody in the UFC. It was pre-UFC.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, I want to get more information about what Tim Elliott's been up to, because that's a massive layoff for an older fella. Booking my flight from Bristol to Chicago now. There you go, Muhammad.
Let's go.
There you go.
Holler at me. He's in my Discord. Holler at me.
Holler. A lot of people are going to be in Chicago, I feel like. Hopefully just everybody but Colton G. Bros need some help for real. I keep missing the show. My bad. I will correct this. We'll definitely go back and watch. Appreciate you, Freedom. Appreciate you. Let's see. Max bet Kai by KO.
Whoa.
He's a skilled cheater. Yeah, Elliot did cheat in that to gear fight.
Did.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Kai may KO Tim. Yeah, maybe. Kai hits very hard. Like he was landing some big shots on Pantoja that probably only Pantoja is able to eat. So Brady turning off his camera to rip a fat line right now. No, I was on WikiFeed. I had to take care of some business. Lifting pens weight off screen. What? Fight ends by DQ. Okay. Elliot's active on Twitter. Okay, I don't follow his Twitter. I was looking at his Instagram. I didn't see much. Yeah, he might be training with Ola's at Ola's Chuck's garage. He posted that he's been. I did see that tweet. So he posted a tweet that said that he's been working out or something. Like he said, I'm working out. I promise, or something like that. It's just a really weird tweet to tweet that. But yeah, I did see that. Just doesn't post everything. Yeah, that's fair. Some guys don't, but Kai's way bigger. Lifting penis weights off screen, McGregor style. There you go. Update on Elliot. His house flooded on July 25th. That's not good.
That's not good at all.
That's not great. Free Dumas, free Colton G, free the guys. No, don't free them. Tim Elliott's been training here in Kansas City a lot. Okay. WikiFeed, of course. Forget about WikiFeed for a minute there. Yeah, forgot about it. Yeah, don't forget about WikiFeed. Future sponsors of the show. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Jared Cannonier going against Michael Page. We got Jared Cannonier, 41 years old, 5'11" with a 77-inch reach. Michael Page, 38 years old, 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. We got Page 3 years younger, 3-inch height advantage, and a 2-inch reach advantage. Jared Cannonier, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Sean Strickland. Decision win against Marvin Vettori. Knockout loss to Imavov. Decision loss to Kyle Bahayo. A knockout win against Gregory Rodriguez. As far as Michael Page, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Kevin Holland. Won that fight by decision. Lost a decision to Ian Gary. And then won a decision against Shara Magomedov here. So, yeah, very interesting fight here. And for me, it's like, it's really hard for me to pick against Michael Page, against somebody that's going to strike with him. Like, I haven't seen anything like Michael Page. The guy's he's 38 years old, but he's lightning fast. His striking defense is incredible. It's like impossible to hit this guy. He's low volume, but he'll kind of blitz in and land and get out of the way before you can touch. It's just a really weird style, but it's a style that works. Like, I went back and watched the Gary fight, and it's like he was toying with Ian Gary on the feet. Yeah. And Gary's a great striker. He made Gary look like an amateur in the striking. You know, Gary had to actually take him down to win the fight. Same thing with Kevin Holland. Like, Kevin Holland is a great striker, and he made Kevin Holland look stupid out there. And he made Shara look kind of dumb out there as well. Like, Michael Page's striking style is just really weird, and I don't think he's going to lose a lot of fights that take place standing. Where you will beat him, though, is taking him down. But that's not really Jared's game. Jared has only one fight in his UFC career where he's landed more than one takedown, and it was in the Vettori fight where Vettori was, pretty much dead the entire time. So, I think Jared Cannonier is going to probably have to wrestle here. And I don't know. I think he might try. But again, it's just not something we've seen. And all of a sudden, at 41 years old, is he going to go out there and wrestle for 15 minutes? I'm not so sure. So, yeah, I kind of lean Michael Page here to get the job done. He is the younger guy. Jared's 41 years old. But if Jared does come out here with his wrestling shoes, it could get a little interesting. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised the line isn't a little bit wider because I don't think there's a guy at 170 or 185 that can beat Michael Page on the feet. I don't know who that is. Like, this guy is an absolute nightmare to fight. Do you remember one of his fights in Bellator? He fought a guy named Rickles. It's one of my favorite fights to watch because you see Rickles in the second round, he just quits. and he wasn't that badly hurt, but he literally just yelled out loud, "Fuck this."
Oh.
And he just quit. Just stopped. Like he was like, "I'm done. I'm done." And he wasn't knocked down. He wasn't knocked out. He realized, I'm never going to fucking touch this guy. I'm telling you, if you want to see a really funny like fight, watch Paige Rickles. You're going to laugh. You just see him like go out there. I mean, like he's toying with this dude. He's toying with this dude. He's like a cat with an injured insect. He just fucking just slapping him, you know, get up, walk away, and then you come back talking to Charlie Sheen, you know, cage side about what he had for dinner the night before. Then he comes back and beats him some more. I don't know who's going to beat Michael Page on the feet. I think you're going to have to grapple him. And I've always thought that Jared is a underrated grappler. That dude's got really good ground and pound, and he's got good takedown defense. He's always been a guy that I felt like if he could mix it in a little bit more, it would have made him a little bit more dangerous. So I guess we're going to find out, Brady, in this fight. Does Jared Cannonier have the ability to get takedowns, win minutes, and bank rounds with his grappling game? Because we just really haven't seen it at this level, but it's going to be necessary here. I mean, at 40 years of age, I mean, you're not going to be touching Michael Page. I just don't see it happening. I mean, like the guy is impossible to hit. How many significant strikes? He's absorbing 2.2 significant strikes per minute at distance. That is half the divisional average. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So he just, you know, I think he's going to toy with him. I think he's going to pick him apart. I don't think Jared's going to quit like Rickles did. But you know, I think he's going to be like, I think he's going to go back to his corner. I also remember in the Holland fight, like Holland goes back to his corner and like his corner's giving him advice. And he goes, guys, he's hard to hit. He says to his corner, he's hard to hit. Okay. Because they're telling him how they want him to hit him. And he's like, I don't know if I can hit this guy. And that's Kevin Holland. You know, Kevin Holland's young. He's long. He's accurate. You know, Cannonier is 41 years old. It's going to be really hard for him to find success at distance striking range against Michael Venom Page. Yep,
I agree. And the one worry would be Cannonier coming out here and wrestling, which would be kind of annoying, but he's going to probably need to. Page opened up minus 135. He's currently minus 172. Cannonier opened up plus 115. He's currently plus 147. The over-under is juiced to the tits. The over 2.5 is minus 265. The under 2.5 is plus 205 there. So, yeah, I think it probably should go over.
Probably, but God, both of these guys have power.
Yeah, they definitely do. Cannonier moneyline dog of the week if he wrestles or lands a big shot. MVP in the big cage has to lean towards an MVP decision. I'm kind of leaning that way as well. MVP will make it look easy. Let's see. It was a great story, 100%. Holland isn't a great striker. How about you tell that to Holland's face? How about you go up to Kevin Holland? Holland, you're not a great striker. And let me know what he says.
I thought he beat Jack Della Maddalena at distance striking range, man. I mean, he's a very good striker.
He's a really good striker, besides the D-Rod fight. But something was up in the D-Rod fight. Something was seriously up and wrong. Huge physicality edge for Jared, true. Will land bigger shots and dominate grappling exchanges. MVP got held down by Ian Gary. Oh!
And it's important to note that this is at 185, and Page typically fights at 170. But I don't think they're getting one. I don't think the 170 pounders want to fight this guy. So that he had to move up to fight Shara at 185, and now he's got another fight at 185.
Yeah, Jared has to know he needs to grapple. I think he will know that, but will he be able to implement that game plan? We'll see. I'm scared for Cannonier's career after this. Jared said in an interview he really needs money and he's broke. Oh gosh. We could see a MVP highlight reel KO. I've been waiting for it. Cannonier's a bit chinny. He's been knocked out a few times, but a lot of his finished losses were at heavyweight back in the day.
Yeah.
Doesn't typically get finished. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be Jeff Neal going against Carlos Praches. We got Jeff Neal, 34 years old, 5'11" with a 75-inch reach. Carlos Praches, 31 years old, 6'1" with a 78-inch reach. Praches 3 years younger, 2-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage. Jeff Neal is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Santiago Ponzinibbio. Knockout win against Vicente Luque. Submission loss against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Decision loss against Ian Gary. And then a knockout win against Rafael dos Anjos. As far as Carlos Praches, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Trevin Giles. Knockout win against Charles Radke. Knockout win against The Leech. Knockout win against Neil Magny. And then just a really weird fight in that Ian Gary fight where he actually had his best round in the 5th round. Was really close to actually finishing Ian Gary, it looked like. But it kind of took him a while to get going. I'm really looking forward to this fight, Weezy. We got Jeff Neal, the guy that ruined Vicente Luque's career, going against Carlos Praches, the guy that has a lot of hype on these fighting nerds in general, but Carlos Praches especially. What are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, I can't wait for this one because I've always thought Jeff Neal's been just a criminally underrated fighter. He's got amazing power, great takedown defense, excellent conditioning, and he'll sign on to fight anybody. I mean, this guy fought Ian Gary. He fought Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's taken a ton of tough fights over his UFC career, and he's went 8-4 over that stretch. He's got real power in his hands, Brady. 8 knockdowns over 12 UFC fights, knocking down his opponents on 1.2% of the significant strikes that he lands, and he's only absorbed 1 knockdown in 12 UFC fights. So Jeff Neal can strike with the best of them. And it's going to be a beautiful striker versus striker matchup here. The thing about Prates is that he can kind of like wait a little bit to get his reads, and he can be a little bit patient. I wouldn't recommend doing that against Jeff Neal because Jeff Neal can win minutes at range, man. And the thing about Carlos is he's extremely hittable. He trusts his power so much. He trusts his striking so much that he doesn't really care if you close the distance and start swinging on him because he's going to be countering back. And he's going to be looking to land that straight left hand, that nice body kick, that nice high kick. He's got some really good weapons there. This is a great fight, but we haven't seen Jeff in a little bit. He's been off for over 9 months now. And so I don't like the recent inactivity because Prates already has 5 UFC fights over the last year and a half. And he's just running through these people until he got to the Gary fight. And that was one fight. I still haven't seen that fight, Brady. I don't know what it was, but when that card happened, I had other plans. I was doing something that day and I never got to see that fight. And because people said it was a shit fight, I never went back and watched it. So that's going to be one of the first things I do when I tape this fight is watch that Prates Gary fight and kind of see what happened there, because that was definitely the highest level opponent that Prates had been matched up against, and he didn't do great. The wins over Magny and Jingling and Radke and Giles, those are great wins, but they're not wins over Ian Gary or Jeff Neal or any of the guys that Jeff Neal's been fighting. I mean, Jeff Neal went to a split decision with Ian Gary. He knocked out Dos Anjos. It took Rakhmonov until the end of the 3rd round to get him out of there. And he had Shavkat in some trouble, actually. He landed a couple of big shots, and Shavkat sold out for the grappling in that fight because he didn't want to stand with Jeff Neal. So there's been a lot of fighters that have tried to mix in the grappling against Jeff Neal because they don't like standing with him. Prates is not going to have that option. So I think this is going to be one of the most fun fights of the night because these guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. They're both such talented strikers. Prates is a little bit more accurate. Jeff Neal's a little bit more defensively responsible. I can't wait for this one, man.
Yeah, they're probably going to swing dicks, and it's probably going to come down to who has the bigger dick. But yeah, it was weird in the Prates Gary fight. It's Prates didn't start fighting until a minute and a half left in the 5th round. It's really weird. Yeah, I mean, Gary looked good. Don't get me wrong, but it's Prates looked like he just didn't try. He maybe was worried about gassing out or what. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, Prates took a little bit too long to get going, and he took a little bit long to get going in the Giles fight too. But in the Gary fight, it was 1.5 minutes left, and now I'm going to try to finish Gary. It was really weird, but
Every time I've seen Carlos Prates put the pressure on, his opponent is dead 20 seconds later.
I know. Why not do that from the jump?
Yeah, I think he likes to get his reads and fucking figure out what his opponent's trying to do offensively, manage distance. But like at the end of the first round in the Magny fight, there comes a point where you're just like, oh shit, Carlos is pressuring, and then it's just over. Yeah. It's over once that dude starts walking forward and looking for his offense. Same thing against Radke. He stepped in with that knee and just folded him. Neil Magny at the end of the first round. Lee Jingling. Oh my God, what poor Lee Jingling.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Dude, he beat the piss out of Lee, and Lee hadn't fought in a long time going into that fight. So I don't know if that dude's ever going to get in the cage after what Prates did to him. So yeah, look out, man. When Prates gets his confidence and he starts letting his hands go, man, it's just horrible for his opponent.
Yeah. So Prates opened up -400. He's currently -245. Neil opened up +330. He's currently +210. The over-under is set at 2.5. The under 2.5 is -155. The over 2.5 is +125.
See, I kind of feel like I want to go with the over there. As hard as both of these guys hit, they're both very durable. You know, I mean, well, actually, Prates isn't durable. He's been finished in 5 of 7 losses as a pro, but they're all so long ago that I don't know if they mean anything now. So, but boy, that would be a butt puckerer to be watching these guys throw leather for 12 and a half minutes, hoping nobody gets knocked out. Man, that would be one of those ones where you might cash it, but it might not be worth it.
Yeah, I don't love a total on this one because I guess I kind of lean over, but I mean, these guys are going to swing dicks here, and they both have a ton of power. So I could also see somebody getting served. Glenn saying I have a Prates Hooper parlay -110. Neil will make Prates kneel. Okay, I'll do better. There you go, Mills. Fade Fortis fighters, Prates money line for the win. Fortis fighters are okay, you know, hit and miss. At least they're not extreme couture fighters.
Yeah, they've had a rough run recently, at least that's for sure.
Jeff Neal sucks. Okay, Barry, do me a favor. Go up to Jeff Neal and be like, Jeff Neal, you suck. And I want to see what happens if you told Jeff Neal he sucks to his face. I think that'd be pretty hilarious. Neil, dog of the night. Carlos Prates will get exposed. What are the odds? Neil's a decent sized dog, +1 or +210, and Prates is -245 there. The odds are wide. It's the Fighting Nerds tax. He opened up +400 or +330. He opened up. No, Neil opened up +330.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No way. Cigarette Boy is beating Neil. Kind of like the under 2.5 at -155. I think it could look like a good bet, but yeah, I don't know. Prates got dynamite in his hands. Neil does suck. Wow. What's up with people saying Neil sucks?
He doesn't suck.
The only time it looked like he sucked was in that Wonder Boy fight, but he was dealing with some health issues, and it's Wonder Boy.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's had some good performances. But there was like a stretch where he did have some really bad health issues, and he did look rough in a couple of fights. But I think those are past him there. All right. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is going to be the co-main event. We got Lerone Murphy going against Aaron Pico. You got Murphy, 34 years old, 5'9" with a 73-inch reach. Pico, 28 years old, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach. We got Pico 6 years younger. Murphy with a 1-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. Murphy's 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Gabriel Santos. Decision win against Joshua Kulabau. Decision win against Edson Barbosa. Decision win against Dan Ige. And a decision win against Josh Emmett. As far as Pico, he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He's going to be making his debut here. Was supposed to fight Movsar Evloev. Evloev pulled out in steps Lerone Murphy. And this is a tricky fight for me because I went and watched all the fights of Pico. And I was very impressed. I like his fighting style. He's going to come forward. He's very aggressive. He throws with very bad intentions. Everything he throws, he's looking to take your head off and finish you. And then he can wrestle. He can mix in takedowns. But it's like, yes, he looks really good. But it's like he looks really good against who? Against who? It's like very low-level competition. Like compared to Murphy especially. Murphy's fought some very good guys in the division. And, you know, Pico, although he does look good, he does look good to me. The striking looks good. The power, the wrestling, the way he mixes it up, it looks great. But is it going to work at this level? And that's kind of the tricky part, because we've seen time and time again these guys from other organizations come in the UFC and just look awful, just look overrated, just look very bad. We've seen it so many times. So maybe that's the case here. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this co-main event?
Yeah, I mean, Lerone has strung together 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins in a row at the UFC level. Knocks out Ricardo Ramos with ground and pound in the first round. Beats Douglas Silva de Andrade. Knocks out Makwan Amirkhani in the second round with a step-in knee. Split decision with Gabriel Santos in a great back-and-forth fight. Culibao. Edson Barbosa beats him over 5 rounds and puts on a masterclass. Beats Dan Ige, and then a 5-round decision win over Josh Emmett, where the scorecards were 48-47 on 2 of the cards and 49-46 on the other. So, but he almost doubles, or he does double him up in significant strikes over the 25 minutes. But what's tricky here is Josh takes him down 4 times and controls him for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Laron Murphy got taken down and controlled for the entire first round of the Makwan Amirkhani fight. We saw Gabriel Santos on short notice go in there, fly from Brazil to London, goes to fight Laron Murphy there and arguably beats him, on about 1 week's notice by getting 5 takedowns. So there's definitely a little bit of a weakness in Murphy stuffing takedowns and getting back to his feet. We saw Emmett do it. We saw Amirkhani do it. We saw Santos do it to him. And obviously, if you let Aaron Pico get his wrestling game going, he's going to be able to win minutes and bank rounds against you. And Aaron's dangerous on the feet. He's gotten caught a couple of times. He got caught by Adam Boric with a knee, jump switch knee that was really beautiful. He had his shoulder pop out in the Kennedy fight and couldn't get it back in. That was kind of hard to watch. He's been guillotined in his pro debut by he was like a minus 2,000 favorite there. So we've seen him, get caught. We've seen him get knocked out a few times. And like you say, dude, I mean, what are we supposed to do? This guy's been finished in all 4 of his losses, and he's losing to Bellator guys. The wins, Hendry Corrales, Pedro Carvalho, Jimmy Gonzalez, Adley Edwards.
Oh,
yeah. So, I think that Pico's the favorite, Brady, because everybody knows that this kid's crazy talented. He was one of the most hyped prospects that we've seen come into the sport over the last 10 years. He just didn't come into the UFC. He went to Bellator instead. So it's hard to know, dude. It's hard to know because some of these wins are over guys that obviously Laron Murphy's going to beat Adley Edwards. He's going to beat Jimmy Gonzalez. He's going to beat Pedro Carvalho, So, I think I'm leaning Murphy here, but I mean, I get why Pico's the favorite because I think he's going to be able to get takedown. Whenever this guy goes for takedowns, he gets them, Brady.
Yeah.
And Laron Murphy's got 52% takedown defense at the UFC level. He gets out-controlled 22% to 16%, wins less than 50% of the control time positions in his fights. When it comes to striking in those positions, he's doing well in the clinch and on the ground. Laron Murphy does have really good control time striking. He lands 2.5 clinch and ground strikes per minute and only absorbs 1.15. So maybe if Pico does take him down, he might be dealing with some striking off of the back, might be dealing with some submission attempts. But if this fight stays standing, I think Laron's going to look very good, but Pico's no slouch on the feet either. It's just I favor the durability of Laron Murphy. I like all the 5-round experience that he has. The level of competition, obviously, that there's a strength of schedule advantage here on the Laron Murphy side as well. So, it's going to be, I think Pico's really going to need to get his wrestling game going here, but the door is wide open for him to do that. So, yeah, I mean, you can make a really good argument for both sides. The argument for Pico is that he's a well-rounded fighter with great wrestling who should be able to take down an Englishman in Laron Murphy, who's not known for having the best ground game. He's known for losing some minutes there. And obviously, if Murphy were to win, you'd be saying, well, he's fought the better brand of competition. He's been in the UFC. He's got a little bit more power on the feet. The dude's never lost a fight in 17 professional fights. So he's never been finished, obviously, either. He can win minutes, he can win moments, and he's been doing it against the higher level of competition. I'm looking forward to seeing this kid Pico make his UFC debut. He belongs here, and it's a tough matchup, man. It's a tough matchup against Laron Murphy.
Yeah, it's such a tricky fight because I was really impressed with Pico, but he hasn't fought Laron Murphy yet. And yeah, the 50% takedown defense of Murphy does scare me as well. But I am leaning Murphy, but I don't know if I can get there because Pico does have a path with the wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's see. Neil does suck. Okay, go say that to his face. Murphy's the dog. Murphy is the dog. Pico -140, Murphy +120. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe just like auto fading this Pico, but I don't know. I think he's pretty dang good. Win Pico, Bellator PFL fade in play. Yeah, it could be an auto fade, but I was impressed with Pico. Laron Murphy is champ material. I don't know Pico, but this seems wild. I can't believe
Picogram.
It's not showing up for me. StreamYard. Oh, there it is. I can't believe Picogram is the favorite. He sucks. What's up with you guys saying people suck? Pico don't suck, man. Tell Pico he sucks to his face.
Yeah. I won't be doing that.
I wouldn't do that. Pico by vicious KO. That would be something, man. Laron's never been knocked out. Is Laron still the dog? Yes. My max bet him at 220 +120. Murphy is a dead man walking. Yeah, a lot of people split on this fight, it looks like.
Yeah.
Murphy, ground and pound finish. Murphy by decision. These are bets people don't like, but haven't been nice lately. Seriously, who's Pico? Nobody. What are their ages? Murphy's 34 and Pico's 28. Murphy decision. Murphy by sub. Murphy seems to have the faster hands. Yeah, a lot of people split here. Under 2.5 at +170. Maybe. Murphy's super tough though. Don't they call him the Miracle?
Dude, he got shot in the head.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he's been shot like several times. He still has a part of a bullet lodged behind one of his ears. So, yeah, a gun can't finish Laron Murphy. So it's tough. I mean, but Pico's got power. Pico's a finisher himself.
Yeah, he does. He does have power. Tell Dumas he sucks to his face. I'm not gonna do that. Come on.
Brandon R says that Hamzat and DDP both suck.
Oh God, dude, come on. Pico versus Mosvar would have been juiciest fight. Would have been a fun fight.
Yeah,
and this fight's fun still. I can call Dumas for you. Let's get him on the show. Why not? Oh, sounds awful. All right. Let's move on to the main event now. Before we do so, we have 623 of you guys watching. If you guys have not already, be sure to smash the like button. We're going to check the likes. 155 likes, so 45 more likes by the time we get out of here, and I will get a skullet and a face tattoo teardrop. So get those likes up. Subscribe to the channel. We go live every Sunday at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. Got to shout out our guy, Avery, for sponsoring the show. Guys, go give him a follow, MMA_very. Appreciate you, Avery, for sponsoring the show, and appreciate my wife for sponsoring the show. Go check out our website, herbalmakings.com. Use code StatTickers for 10% off your entire order. And let's get into the main event. It is Hamzat Chimaev going against Dricus du Plessis. We got Hamzat, 31 years old, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach. Dricus du Plessis, 31 years old, 6'1" with a 76-inch reach. Same age there. Hamzat with a 1-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Du Plessis is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Derek Brunson. Knockout win against Robert Whittaker. Decision win against Sean Strickland. Submission win against Israel Adesanya. And a decision win against Sean Strickland. As far as Hamzat, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Submission win against Leach. Decision win against Gilbert Burns. Submission win against Kevin Holland. Decision win against Kamaru Usman. And a submission win against Robert Whittaker. Dricus is a guy that I never thought he'd be here. I never thought he'd be champion. He's kind of a guy that just kind of proved a lot of people, including me, wrong throughout most of his career. It's like you watch this guy and it's like, what is he doing in there? What is he doing in there? In the past, he looked gassed 1 minute into the fight. He was So his fights are sloppy, but hey, I got to give him props, man. This guy is the champion. This guy has multiple title defenses at this point. Shout out to Dricus du Plessis. Wheezy, does he keep it going? Does Dricus do it once more?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, everybody thinks that when Dricus is going to lose, he wins. So he has a way of just continuing to pull it out, and he's such a good fighter. But I think that his last 3 fights, Strickland, Adesanya, Strickland, it's a different kind of fight. Even Whitaker, you don't really have any kind of a grappling path against, Whitaker's not going to grapple you. Obviously Khamzat is one of the most dominant fighters that's ever been in the UFC. This guy's undefeated as a professional. He's 14-0. He's 8-0 in the UFC. You could say that maybe he lost a round to Gilbert Burns. The Kamaru Usman fight was close, but we just saw Kamaru Usman run through Joaquin Buckley over 5 rounds. Usman is still, one of the best defensive wrestlers that the organization has ever seen. So I don't know what's going to happen here in the grappling, but I just got to assume that Khamzat's going to fucking melt this dude when he takes him down. I know that Dricus has got good jiu-jitsu, but Khamzat's on a different level. He's on a completely different level. His ground and pound is nasty. He's been in there against the best fighters in the division, and he's running through them. He's running through these guys. I worry about the health. I worry about the inactivity. 9-month layoff here. He talks like you hear him say that he doesn't want to leave the house for fear of getting sick.
Oh.
He's got to have a coach that prevents him from overtraining because he nearly died from COVID because he refused to take time off from training. He would just train and train and train, and he never gave his body a chance to get over the sickness. And as a result, it's hurt him. He's clearly a different type of person right now than he was a few years ago when he came into the UFC. He's a lot more quiet now. He's a lot more humble. He just looks to be a different type of person, but shit, man, they closed the cage behind him and he just destroyed Robert Whitaker. I mean, it was so bad. He just ran right through him. And he 10-8's Kamaru Usman in round 1. Nobody does that to Kamaru. Kevin Holland, that fight's over almost immediately. Gilbert Burns, he hurt him bad in the first round and ran through him, but then, the second and third rounds were a little bit closer. But he showed a lot there. He showed heart. He showed conditioning. He showed the ability to persevere through bad situations. And he still arguably won all 3 rounds of that fight. I think Khamzat Chimaev is better than this dude, Brady. I think he's going to beat him. But with Dricus, you always know that if you bet against this guy, he might find a way to make you pay. And with Khamzat, you wonder, what's going on with this dude? You remember when he took fights like 6 days apart and melted both dudes, and he was saying he wanted to fight 8 times a year. And then COVID came, and then all of a sudden the guy was almost on his deathbed. So I don't know, man. I think Khamzat's probably one of the best fighters that's ever been in the UFC. I think he's one of the most dominant fighters to ever grace the sport of MMA. And I got a feeling he's going to get the job done in Chicago here. Pray to God this fight happens. Pray to God that Khamzat doesn't pull a fucking stunt, because it wouldn't be the first time if he did. And there's been whispers that this fight was going to get called off for the last 2 months. Like Cormier was told, DC was saying that he heard that Khamzat was not going to fight 2 months ago. So we just got to hope it happens, because like I said, I think this is maybe the most compelling fight that we've seen this year. This is just, you could talk for hours about the stylistic components of this fight, what the striking exchanges are going to look like, which one of these guys is going to be pressuring, who's going to grapple more. It's a brilliant fight. It's 2 of the best fighters to ever do it, and they're like different styles and different archetypes of fighters, and you just don't know which one of them is going to come out on top on Saturday.
Yeah, I hope this fight stays on, but if it doesn't, it means that Khamzat pulled out and in steps Fluffy Hernandez.
on 6 days notice, though, man?
Why not? Why not?
Oh, man. Well, that would be cool. I think that would be really cool, but I would think it's entirely too much to ask of Fluffy for him to cut weight twice in 6 days. I think that's crazy.
He's doing it. They said he's weighing in as the backup.
Really?
That's what they said.
That's fucking awesome. Good. I get him on the fucking first plane to Chicago.
I think they did. I think they did get him on the first plane.
Good,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, because like if Hamza might pull a stunt, I think everybody knows it.
He might try to pull something. He's done it before.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. We got Hamzat Chimaev opened up -200, currently -210. Dricus opened up +170, currently +180. Over under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 -105. The under 2.5 is -125. I cannot wait for this fight. And yeah, man, could Dricus do it again? Could Dricus do it again? We'll see. But what I know for a fact is he's going to be put in some bad spots. And Dricus gets put in bad spots a lot, like in general. But he's going to be put in some bad spots against Chimaev. And it's going to be up to him to fight out of those bad spots, kind of extend the fight. But we'll see. He got put in some bad spots against Brunson. Even like Till had been some bad spots. So we'll see. Let's see. DDP round 3 or round 4. Hamzat by decision. Hamzat by decision would be crazy. That'd be like a steakhouse bet. I wonder what Hamzat decision is. Hamzat decision is plus 490 for Hamzat by decision.
What fight doesn't go?
It's been getting just obliterated since it opened at -205, which would probably be a max bet, but now it's -320.
Okay. That sounds about right.
Yeah, 320 sounds about right. Looking at the plus money, Dricus there. DDP getting absolutely mauled for 7 minutes, then winning on some spinning shit would be perfect. And that is 110% on the table.
Yep.
Because I do think he's going to get mauled early on. I don't think there's any way around it. Wouldn't bet him at this price that you're talking about. Hamzat and the grappling has grappling's legit. Hamzat is not a fighter. I don't know about that. I mean,
what is he then?
I don't know how you could say something like that. Let's see. Kai was the backup. I mean, Fluffy himself said that the UFC told Fluffy that he's going to Chicago. The way UFC told Fluffy you're going to Chicago right before he did, media after the fight is maybe telling. So yeah, that's when I heard that I was like, oh gosh, something's not good, or something's not right. So why are they bringing Fluffy to Chicago then if Kai was the backup?
Well, I think that I heard that they just wanted him to be able to face off against who won the fight, because after coming off of that kind of a performance, I mean, he's got to get a title shot.
So they're flying him in to face off?
Yeah, to face off after the fight with whoever wins. You know, like they always do that. And
yeah, I think it's kind of lame when they do that sometimes. But
yeah, but they're marketing.
They're marketing it.
You know.
I guess everybody's the backup. Let's bring in RDR.
RDR. I'm gonna try to make 185. And then I'll just like when Hamzat runs across the octagon at me, I'll just curl up. Get into that ball, that small little ball, corpse guard, whatever.
Let's have everybody back up. We should get let's have Paul Craig come back down to middleweight and back up as well. Maybe Mearshart will back up. Everybody's gonna back up this fight. Let's see. All right. So we did it. We went through all 12 fights, 14 if we're including the tough fights. We didn't touch on those much. I still have to look into those. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do the Stat Diggers Parlay of the Week, which we've been cold. Last week, Julius Walker, shout out to Julius Walker, kind of ruined it. We had the under 1.5 there. That ruined the parlay. We also had Julius Walker as the piping of the week, which he did not pipe Rafael Cerqueira, so that was bad. But to be fair, we let the audience decide the piping last week, and they kind of went with Julius Walker, so it's not really our fault. But and then the milking came through. The milking was Anthony Fluffy Hernandez to milk Roma de Lidze. So let's go 3 for 3. We'll start with the Stat Diggers Parlay of the Week, and we have a ton of options. We have parlayable lines, parlayable money lines.
Mm-hmm.
We got some totals. What are you thinking for a leg in the Stat Diggers parlay?
I would like to go with what I think is my favorite leg right now, is just in terms of price and seeing the fighter win, would be Michael Venom Page at -172 over Cannonier.
Oh, perfect. Then I'll go Chase Hooper.
Chase Hooper, I love that too, dude.
And that should come out to plus money or pretty close to it. So Hooper is -310.
That moved because he was minus 280 when we were talking about it.
Great. And then Page is minus 170.
Yeah, so it's plus 109 right now because he's minus 172. So the Stat Diggers parlay, the Chase Hooper money line, the Michael Venom Page money line comes out to plus 109.
There we go. Stick with money line parlay. We did it. We did. But he's on Jared. He's on Jared. So we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe because Jared's a middleweight, that'll help him out because he's certainly more well-rounded than Shara.
Yeah. Julius Walker did not. Yeah, he didn't juice him, man. He didn't juice him. All right. So now it is time we'll do the piping next. So for the piping, let's see our options. So for the piping, I think either guy can get piped in the Barbosa close fight. I think Barbosa could potentially pipe up close. I mean, ever since the Jeremy Stevens push, I don't think he's been the same. I think Mikel Olazecha could pipe Gerald Meerschaert on site. I think Carlos Diego Ferreira could potentially pipe up Bobby Green. Diego Ferreira has a lot of power, and Bobby Green might not be the same guy anymore. And then Carlos Praches could potentially pipe up Jeff Neal. Although Neal hasn't been piped up, Praches is known for giving out some devastating piping. So, and then Hamza, I guess, could pipe, but he's more of like a milker, but it's a quick milking, if you will. So I said the four options, Wheezy, would be Edson Barbosa, Mikel Olazecha, Carlos Diego Ferreira, or Carlos Praches.
I can't go against my guy Meerschaert here. I'm going to have to see him around town. So let's see here. I kind of feel like, oh, man.
Yeah, I would say Olazecha, but he could also get subbed in hilarious fashion quickly.
Yeah, I mean that's what Meerschaert does. I'm maybe Barbosa.
Who?
Edson Barbosa.
Oh yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine with that, I suppose.
I mean, because if he can stay out of the clinch, I mean, but I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man.
I know if we pick Ferreira to pipe Green's going to pull out a masterclass like he did in the Jim Miller fight. Oh
God.
It's a hard one, dude.
I think it's got to be Mikel or Ferreira. I think it's between Mikel or Ferreira because I don't know about Barbosa. Because Barbosa, I don't know.
Yeah, Oleg Sejcek is a nightmare to deal with, dude. That guy's got bricks for hands. He fucking goes to the body. He's extremely durable. You have to submit him if you're going to get him out of there.
See what the chat's saying. Help us out. Drakkar is so slow. Phillips is taking. I'm taking Mikel.
Okay.
It's a tough pipe this week. I think there's gonna be piping. It's just who's gonna pipe.
Yeah.
Don't do a 39-year-old piping. I can see Barbosa piping close. I could see it too.
Yeah.
Do it. Pick RDF. Pico for a piping. I don't know about that. Find that pipe. Weezy, your boy GM3 is molasses, but his submission game though.
Yeah, he is molasses because if you fall into him on the ground, you're gonna get stuck. And molasses is sticky. It's got some heft to it. And Gerald Meerschaert, man. You go down to the ground with that guy, he's sticky.
I don't mind that. I forgot about Kaya. We have Tim Elliott, who hasn't trained in 100 weeks.
Yeah, dude, the guy hasn't fought in a year and 8 months, and Kaya Sakura's got serious power, and we've seen him get submitted a lot, but not knocked out. I don't know, man. It's a tough one.
What do we do? Do we let the chat decide?
Yeah.
We can do a quick poll. Okay.
Yeah. Do a quick poll while we come up with the milking.
Because we're struggling. Okay, so so option number 1 would be Mikel Olazecha. Oh, like say what a name. Okay, option number 2, Edson Barbosa. Option number 3, Diego Ferreira. And then what was the other one Let's do Kaya Sakura for instead of Prachas.
Okay.
Sakura. All right, so we got 4 options there. We'll let you guys decide within the next 5 minutes. So get those votes in, help us out. And while we do that, we'll get to the milking, which the milking should be a lot easier because really there's only 2 options. Well, there's 3. I think that Chase Hooper could potentially milk Alexander Hernandez. If Loopy were to do the correct game plan, I think she could potentially milk Andrade. She's been milked several times. Even Mearshart, as a big dog, could potentially milk Olazechuk. And then the other one would be Hamzat Chimaev for a milking there as well. But I would lean towards either Hooper or Chimaev probably for the milking.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Hooper. Hooper is so good.
Yeah, and Hernandez has been milked how many times?
Yeah, it's a few times, dude. I mean, like the pace is going to be something he's going to have a very hard time dealing with.
All right. Okay, to milk Alexander. Is it still the Great? Or did he
Yes,
change?
he is the great ape. I think he's the great ape.
Okay, the Great 8.
Which is like a plus EV nickname, in my opinion, the Great Ape. But let me look and see if he just changed it back to the Great. The Great Ape, according to UFC stats, and that's the official nickname website of the UFC.
The Great 8. Okay, so it's official. The milking, it couldn't have been more perfect last week. Let's make it even more perfect. The Stat Diggers milking of the week. Chase the Gooner Hooper to milk Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez. Oh, goodness me.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness me. All right. So we've let a couple minutes go. We're going to now close the poll, and we're going to see who's going to pipe their opponent on site. And quite frankly, it's not even close. Let's see. Only 37. Are you guys sleeping or what's going on? 37 votes.
People in here with us
is ridiculous. We have 322 on Twitter, which they're excused because you can't vote on Twitter.
Okay.
But 302 on YouTube and only 37 votes.
Terrible. I'm voting.
Ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Uncle Weezy's so pissed he just left. And I don't blame him.
What happened? Can you hear me?
I don't blame Uncle Weezy for leaving after something like that. But yeah, I can hear you. Well, fix
why my camera stopped.
Yeah, it's because we only got 37 votes. I can't believe it. Okay, you're back. All right. Oh my gosh. All right. So anyway, appreciate you guys for not voting. Anyway, so 37 votes. Believe it or not, 13% think Diego Ferreira is going to pipe Bobby Green on site. 16% think Edson Barbosa is going to pipe Jakar Close on site. 29% say that Kai Asakura is going to pipe Tim Elliott on site. And then 40% say Mikhail Olazechuk is going to pipe Gerald Mearshart on site. So the piping of the week is Mikhail Olazechuk to pipe up GM3 this Saturday.
All right. That's a good one, dude. That's a good one.
I mean, if he wins, it's going to be a piping. It's going to be a brutal piping.
Yeah. The only local fighter, we got a Wisconsin fighter. We got Drakkar Close, the fighting pride of South Haven, Michigan. South Haven, step up. But other than that, yeah, we got nobody from Chicago on this card.
All right. So let's make it official. Let's go 3 for 3. On-site piping of the week, Mikhail Olazechuk to pipe GM3 on-site at UFC 319. Oh, good heavens.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
And you almost got Olazechuk spelled right. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Olek-say.
So it's O-L-E-K-S-I-E-J-C-Z-U-K. It ends in J-C-Z-U-K.
J-C-Z. Yeah, the Z should be before the H, or is there no H?
There's no
H. Wow. Well, you learn something.
Polish names are so hard to pronounce and spell, man. They got a really tricky names.
Yeah, I'm surprised I even got that close. They're just off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's pretty good, dude. I mean, that's what I was saying. That's not bad at all, because
Yeah.
that's one of the hardest names. That and Jan Jacek. Like I had to spell, it's like Jurzyk. Like it's so hard to pronounce.
I can spell Marcin Tybura.
Yeah, that's a good Polish name. You know, there are some
Yeah.
easy ones like Jotko. I could get that one.
Yeah, Jotko, I can get that.
Although the first name Christoph is a little bit tricky.
I couldn't get that. I couldn't do the Christoph part. But yeah, we did it. Went through all the fights. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat. Gonna kick it to our Uncle Weezy. Uncle Weezy, any final thoughts before we head out of here? And also let the people know where they can find you. Any special guest appearances for a big card this weekend?
Thank God, man. I'm no special appearances. This is my city, and I'm gonna be at the fights, and I'm gonna do as little work as possible outside of the stuff for my Odds Shopper people. So you can find me on oddsshopper.com. That's where you find my probability stats and content package, where you see the stats that you're seeing there on the screen, the matchup stats, individual fighter stats, the over-under betting model, the prop betting model, all of my fight write-ups, which are usually 5 to 7 pages on each fight, access to my full card breakdown show, Balls Deep Breakdowns with Uncle Weezy, access to my prop betting show called Propability, $25 a month. That's how you support my work. You can find me on YouTube at Uncle Weezy. You can find me on X at MMA Weezy. And I'm looking to stack cash tickets like flapjacks in my hometown of Chicago, Illinois, and watch some amazing fights on Saturday night.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to this card. Yeah, got a busy week coming up. So I'm actually going to try to get everything done a little bit early this week. Got a couple more fights to tape for the 319 card. Contender Series, I posted my video. It's out now. Go check that out. Spent a ton of time and effort into, Contender Series is just so time consuming. Like, you know nothing about the fighters going in. Got to take the notes, watch the tapes. If you guys could do me a favor, go check out my Contender Series video. And they're going to be doing some more content throughout the week for that. And yeah, looking forward to it, man. UFC 319, this card's stacked from top to bottom. There's not a fight on this card I'm not looking forward to. Like, even the tough fights should be fun. So 14 fights. It's going to be a great time. Thank you all for hanging out. One last time, if you guys could like on your way out, subscribe, and just want to do a quick count on the likes. 168. So this is probably the closest we've gotten to me getting a tattoo on my face. 168. So we were 32 away from getting a skullet and a face tattoo, which would probably ruin my life. I mean, that's something that'll ruin your life.
Yeah, your wife's leaving you and she's taking the kid.
Yeah, so just a face tat, because you guys were about 32, now 30 likes away. So no face tat for me, luckily. Brady's going to get piped on. I hope not. Jeez. I mean, as long as Colton G's not in Chicago, I think I'll be fine. But hopefully I'm not getting piped on site.
Let's hope not. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, everybody. Best of luck for UFC 319. We will see you guys later. Good night.